Oh, we be live. I think
Hello.
we're not live. Hello, we're not live on Twitch. Has a
I can
problem with the
imagine
title.
why. I can imagine
Okay.
why.
Okay, how do I change the title to
Atheist
star?
Republic. No, Atheist Republic News number 358.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. I could do that. All right. So, guys, as you can see, the title, Twitch has a problem with the title. So when I hit live, we went live everywhere, except on Twitch. But now I think we're also live on Twitch, which means that YouTube is probably going to have a problem with this live stream, given the title. And that means you need to like the stream to defeat the algorithm. I mean, not defeat, sorry, the YouTube gods, to inform the algorithm, not defeat. We're not fighting YouTube, okay? We're just trying to, yes. Sorry, I'll take that back. Forgive us, YouTube gods. Yeah.
God, please, anything but that.
Right. Do not go to war with the only gods that we recognize here on Atheist Republic are the YouTube gods. The only god. So yeah, guys, please like the stream. As you can see, the title is probably not going to help. As we saw that Twitch was sensitive about this, so please like the stream and leave a comment after the show is over. But hi everyone.
Hello.
Darko is saying tickle the algorithm.
Yes. Oh, the timing might be different for some people because of daylight savings. I didn't remember that daylight savings was happening.
Yeah. Yes, daylight savings, guys. So if you see this is at a different time, that's the reason.
And this is the new time. For the next 6 months.
Next 6 months. They should get rid of that. Seriously, what the?
I know. So
stupid. So stupid.
Something that's a character flaw of mine is that I just don't understand daylight savings. So every time it happens, I'm completely disoriented, and I just know that I won't understand it. So I just have to let it wash upon me.
I mean, you're not alone in that. Don't blame yourself. I feel a lot of people can relate.
I don't know if we're going forward or back. Do I get more sleep or less? I don't know. I have to reschedule all my meetings. This is a nightmare because in the US, there are some places where it does not shift at the same time. They're like, oh, my colleagues in Arizona, like they didn't shift. It didn't shift. So it's a full blown nightmare. I don't understand any of it. I just accept that I'm gonna fuck things up. It's not great.
It's not great. Okay.
It's not great.
Anyways, guys? Yeah, the live chat is full of people. Thank you guys for being here. So we're gonna be going over some stories, and I'm gonna try to listen to Susie and pay attention to the live chat at the same time, which is not easy for me, at least. Okay, and sometimes Susie realizes that I didn't pay attention to something. It's because I was reading the live chat, and sometimes the live chat realizes that I'm not paying attention to them. It's because I was trying to pay attention to Susie. It's difficult for me, okay? I cannot multifunction, okay? I need to focus on one thing at a time, but I'm trying my best, okay? And Susie has learned to forgive me sometimes for not paying attention because she knows that I'm doing multiple things. So she used to get annoyed, but now she understands. Thank you, Susie.
I didn't understand that this was a genuine thing you dealt with. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's not hard. And then I'm like, no, it took me some time to accept that it is hard for you, and it's okay.
Yes. Not everybody is that smart as you, Susie. So sorry, I apologize. Okay. Anyways, what are we talking about today? What are the stories?
Oh my goodness. Okay. We are talking about all kind of Islam related stuff today. Some Ramadan related stuff today. We are going to talk about some Hezbollah tears. So we're going to get a healthy dose of Schadenfreude. And we're going to talk about some Sharia punishments going on in Indonesia. Then we're going to talk about Iranian Gen Z kids basically just being badass and literally not knowing the difference between Khomeini and Khamenei.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw that? That's great.
Yeah, we're gonna show that today.
Right.
But then the first news we're going to talk about today, I'm actually really excited to talk about this because you're like, oh, there was some like illegal guy in the US like sending money to ISIS. Like, okay, another terrorist. Like, what's the big deal? It's like, okay, you stopped like one terrorist guy or whatever. No, I went and read like the charge sheet for his case. And I'm so glad that I did it because when you go read like the complaints or the indictments that are released by the DOJ, there are oftentimes a lot of details that are not reported in the news about the case. And there are so many details about this case that threw me through a loop. Like, all I'm going to say is that there are strippers involved and it gets messy. It gets messy. And I was not expecting the details that were in this complaint sheet. And I'm so excited to get into this juice, okay? Because it's low-key hysterical.
That's great. Oh, by the way, guys, between the news items, we are going to be reading super chats. So please consider if it's financially convenient for you, but do not support us financially if it's not. Okay, please do not do that. Only like the stream if it's not financially convenient for you. But others, if you want to support the channel, or if you want me and Susie to read your comments between news items, please consider giving us a super chat. I appreciate that. Anyways, should we get right? Like, is there anything that you want to say before we get to the first story?
No.
Oh, I have something to say. Guys, I know that Trump just declared a potential war with the Islamic Republic in Iran if the Khamenei does not negotiate with Trump. So I know that's a huge deal, and I already did a stream about this on the Persian channel. And I know a lot of people are like, Armin, isn't this the first thing that we should be talking about? That this seems like a major escalation. And yeah, that would be the next stream. Okay. The next stream I do on this channel is going to be us talking about potential war between United States and the Islamic Republic in Iran. So just look forward to that one. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, because we're going to go over some details and some things that I'm going to give you some information that you might not hear on mainstream English media. Right. So just look forward to that one. Everything okay with you? By the way, guys, how's Susie's audio? Is it me or her audio is okay for you guys? Yeah,
Testing.
Oh, now it's fantastic. Now it's great.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait, there we go.
Okay, great. Yeah. I'm trying to say, ooh, sounds suspiciously delicious. Okay. Okay. I don't know if it was about the news or Susie's voice, because yes, both of them. Okay.
These dulcet tones.
So, yes. Are we allowed to clap, Madame, my lady, for the first
we
news?
are, because no one died and we stopped some terrorist funding. So what's not to love?
First news.
First news: illegal immigrant arrested for sending $70,000 to ISIS. A Tajik national living illegally in Brooklyn, whose name is Mansouri Manu Chekiri, something like that, was arrested on February 26th for allegedly conspiring to fund the Islamic State and its Central Asian affiliate, ISIS-K. According to the FBI, I'm just going to call him Mansouri. Okay, Mansouri entered the U.S. on a tourist visa in June of 2016, but overstayed his visa when it expired in December of 2016. In March 2017, he attempted to gain legal status by paying an American citizen for a sham marriage. So basically, like conspiring to commit marriage fraud. And I'm going to give you the juicy details. Just wait. But his petition, so like you get legally married and then you have to petition the government for a visa. His petition failed ultimately due to missing documentation. From December of 2021 to April of 2023, he allegedly funneled approximately $70,000 to an ISIS-linked operative in Turkey and Syria, including to a suspect who was later arrested in January of 2024 for a terrorist attack on a church in Istanbul that was claimed by ISIS-K. The complaint also states that Mansouri actively supported ISIS by praising past attacks in the US and collecting jihadi propaganda promoting violence and martyrdom. Despite being prohibited from possessing firearms as an illegal alien, he frequently visited shooting ranges and trained with assault rifles, even sending a video of himself firing a weapon to an ISIS affiliate with the message, quote, "Thank God I am ready, brother." A concerned relative reported him to the New York State Terrorism Tips Hotline, fearing that he might commit violence. Now facing charges of terrorism financing, immigration fraud, and illegal firearms possession, Mansouri could face up to 45 years in prison if convicted. So there is okay, look, when I first heard this news, I was like, okay, like the feds doing their job. They caught another guy who's trying to fund ISIS, like radicalized ISIS, supports them, maybe has the potential of committing an act of terror here, another day, another story, whatever. And then I started to dig into this and I'm like, there is drama, there is extortion, there is strippers, there is the Bronx. Like this low-key almost feels like it should be a movie.
What? Okay.
And the reason why I'm laughing is just because, like, you have to try to find humor in these things where you can, instead of just constantly being like, oh my God, there's a terrorist sleeper cell. I'm going to freak out. You never know who's next. Blah, blah, blah. Like, yes, he was funding ISIS. Yes, he definitely had the potential to do like a lone wolf attack. This is a dangerous person. He doesn't belong in the United States. He's not allowed to be in the United States. But then when you go through some of the manuscripts of the trials and tribulations of his life, it's like, it's kind of funny to me. I don't know. Maybe I have a weird sense of humor. So basically, let's kind of walk things through. And this is why I go to read the complaints that are released by the DOJ. This is coming out of the Eastern District of New York, because you get to see the special agent that was assigned to track his case talk about all the evidence, and the special agent talk about their experience, why they believe this to be true, why they believe to be probable cause, and just lay out the evidence that would lead to the charges. And the first thing that I find very interesting about this case is that what happened was that a relative turned him in, because there was a relative that called like a New York terrorism hotline to say, like, I think that this person is capable of violence. I'm afraid of this person. This person has committed domestic violence in the past. He's threatened to kill me multiple times, and we need to report him like to the FBI because of what he's involved in. So one of his own family members turned him in because of his violence and his radicalism, which I thought was really interesting. So then, because his family member turned him in, or tipped off the authorities in August of 2024, then they start to look into him, and they start to get all of the warrants to start, accessing his data. And when they access his data, they find years of evidence of not only his immigration fraud, illegal firearms possession, but years of evidence of his communications with ISIS. And it is fascinating. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a nerd. So basically, this is a man. So he's from Tajikistan, from Central Asia. And so he had a special inspiration from Central Asian ISIS members. So ISIS members from Uzbekistan, some like Uyghur, Chinese, and he would watch it. They found on his phones and in his data tons of evidence of him watching documentaries about Central Asian terrorists, lots of content from ISIS, propaganda that was translated into Tajik and Russian, which are the primary languages there, and lots of ISIS nasheeds. And these ISIS nasheeds are like one of the main ways that they help promote propaganda. And as they go through his account, they find that he is in communication with, like, following ISIS Instagram pages, following like Turkish ISIS affiliates, and basically they find that he is in communication with some sort of ISIS member in Turkey. And so over time, they're looking at their WhatsApp messages and everything, and they find that this man, Mansouri is his first name, is, and they don't, in the complaint, they do not tell you the name of any of the other individuals, right? It's individual 1, individual 2, CC1, CC2, whatever. So basically, he's funneling money into Turkey, and his contact in Turkey is sending this money to 2 places. It is going to the wives and children of ISIS fighters who are either killed or still fighting, but basically in Syria, if people don't know, there's a giant refugee camp where they put all the ISIS wives and the ISIS kids, and it's called Al-Hol. And Al-Hol is like nominally operated by the Syrian Defense Forces and some Kurdish forces, if I remember correctly, but it's de facto operated by ISIS. Like, ISIS is literally active inside this refugee camp. And there's prison breaks from this refugee camp all the time, and it's extremely dangerous. And so basically they're funneling money to the wives of the ISIS fighters and their kids, and then like half of it will go to ISIS fighters themselves. So it's really interesting because, see, guys, this is why you go look at the complaint. I swear to God, look at who else is going to show you this juiciness, these details. Okay, so look at this. So when you're online and you're part of an online community and you need to prove your identity, so you like post a photo of yourself holding a sign with your username on it, to like prove that for verification, right? So they're kind of doing the same thing. So wait, let's pull up this. Wait, what's happening? Wait, remove ad. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the ISIS fighters would do something similar. So they would send these photos back and forth to each other. So this is the photo that the Mansouri guy would send to them. And this is a bunch of money that he's sending them, like in Syrian notes. And you can see the date here. So we can presume that this was sent on the 5th of January, 2022. And what does it say in Arabic? It says like, may God reward you. And then so basically what they do is they send a photo back.
Is that a child?
Yeah, this is a child.
Oh.
And this is one of the ISIS wives. And it says, like, we have some Russian here, like half the money is shown. And then it says the same note again, like, may God reward you. Right here.
You can see the difference between the child and the grown woman is that the child at least could show her eyes, but the grown woman is like, yeah, no, that could be actually too sexy, like you have to cover no eyes either, like completely black. Yeah, but go on, sorry. Oh, you're muted.
I don't know how that happened. Okay, so basically they have these conversations back and forth about how the money is being used. So like, okay, we gave this much to the families, this much to the sisters, this much to the children, like this one for a boy who's in jail. Um, and then kind of give an account of how they're spending their money. So like, oh, this isn't Photoshop. Well, you can track it down. Like it was distributed this way. For example, for the deceased, so these are ISIS fighters who were killed, their wives received this much, their children this much, depending on how much children they have. Like, praise be to God, the money has been distributed very well. It's helped the widows and their children. But just know that this is only half of the money. And so the special agent says, based on my training and experience in the context of these photographs, as discussed below, I believe that the deceased is a reference to battlefield deaths of ISIS members, and I am familiar with the practice of soliciting financial support from ISIS sympathizers to the family of slain ISIS fighters. So in a way, this reminds me of like the pay for slay program, of the Palestinian Authority, where they basically are, them and their families are like getting workman's comp or like life insurance for the fact that the dad was killed off doing jihadi shit, and they're doing all this stuff to support their family who's left behind.
And they take a cut probably for their services too. Like, it's
Probably.
a good cause, give us money, and then there's part of it that goes to themselves.
Yeah.
I think.
And this is what's interesting. Additionally, as will be seen more clearly in other messages below, I believe that the reference to the other half of the money that is not going to these family members likely refers to a portion that is going to others about whom his contact in Turkey is more circumspect to discuss on the phone, specifically ISIS fighters. So he's saying this elusive other half, the guy doesn't want to talk about it on the phone, but it's probably going to ISIS members, specifically ISIS-K. Or for those who don't know, ISIS Khorasan, which is like Central Asian province. And that's a region that covers what? Khorasan is Iran, Afghanistan. Does Khorasan reach into Tajikistan at all? I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, so basically, yeah, there's more photos to like prove that the money is going to the right place. We can see that it has the same phrase in Arabic, may God reward you. The United Nations carpets. This world is so crazy, man.
Wow. Wait, so we have a picture of a woman thanking people who send money in support of ISIS in front of the money that the ISIS supporters have sent her in a refugee camp by United Nations on top of United Nations carpets. Yeah, this is a crazy world. This is like, wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, by the way, the only people who have control over this camp are the SDF, right? The Syrian Democratic Force, which is run by the YPG, the Kurdish groups. So this area is managed by Kurds, and this is why some people are worried that if the new government in Syria attacks the Kurdish groups, what will happen to this refugee camp? Because if this refugee camp opens up, this is going to be a major source of concern. We have children growing up in this camp for years, completely brainwashed to be the next generation of ISIS fighters. This is a can of worms that is like nobody wants to open. Like they have been kept there, but nobody is like micromanaging them. They're all there, mothers who have lost their husbands to war, with that ideology and mindset, raising up children to be even more radical than their fathers. Nobody is like managing that area, and this is a refugee camp that you guys need to keep an eye on it, because if this opens up one day, this is going to spread around the region, and it's like a disaster.
We're not ready. To be honest, I have a hot take when it comes to that. Part of the reason why the situation was allowed to be the way that it is in Al-Hol is they're like, oh, well, it's wrong and like against international law and the rights of the family for us to separate these children from their mothers. And I'm like, these mothers are abusers. Like 100%, you can separate a child from their abuser. Personally, I believe that you are an abuser, especially the foreign national, like Western ISIS wives. Like there are tons of women who brought their kids from overseas into this environment. You are a neglectful, abusive, negligent parent if you do that. 100%, we can and should separate you from your mother. That's in your best interest. Like, I don't care where you came from. You should be separated from your mother and brought back to your home country. Like, I think it's like so stupid that we allow that. We're like, oh well, it's wrong to separate them from their parents. We separate children from their parents all the time because it's for their well-being, it's for their safety, it's for their livelihood. I don't know. When you read into the situations of the ISIS moms and their kids, I feel like the way we've handled it is so ass backwards. But anyways, so this complaint goes into. Go
just
ahead.
one note. Sorry, Purple Pops asked how many people are in this camp. I just checked. It's 40,000, mostly women and children. Children who are growing up. Yeah, I mean, like they're getting closer to fighting age soon. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, probably a lot of these children can have children at this point. So basically, the complaint goes on to talk about how they have evidence or believe that they have evidence that he was facilitating money to go actually towards ISIS fighting. So like, oh, he's asking, can you put some money aside for the brothers who are traveling and send the rest to the sisters? And so they're like, this is a reference to ISIS fighters or ISIS-K members who are outside the detention camps. So basically the complaint goes through a lot more evidence that they have of him facilitating money to ISIS. And then it goes on to talk about kind of who the identity of some of these people that he was communicating was, and basically that this individual ended up being arrested in Turkey because of his affiliation with ISIS-K, and that he was implicated in this terrorist attack that ISIS-K claimed on a Roman Catholic church in Turkey. And then this is kind of how things start to crumble because they get found out. So then we get into like, what is the history of Mansouri? Like what's going on here? So basically, like I said, he came into the US in 2016 on a tourist visa. So, you're just supposed to be here to visit as a tourist. And then after you go do your sightseeing, you're supposed to go home. Well, he didn't go home. He stayed here illegally. And so he was an undocumented immigrant. And a lot of people don't know that. I believe most people who are undocumented immigrants are actually people that came here legally and overstayed their visa. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. In my experience of knowing people who were undocumented, that's what they did. They overstayed their visa. So basically what ended up happening is he tried to apply for lawful permanent residence twice, but he did it fraudulently and it was taken away from him. Like it was not granted. So basically what he ends up doing. Wait. Okay. Before we get in, I'm so excited to talk about his fraudulent marriage because it's so crazy. I'm so excited. But I'm just going to go through the timeline of this complaint. So basically on his iPhone, they find all this information that he goes to gun ranges in New Jersey, which he's not allowed to do. And he's sending back photos to his ISIS buddies, like showing off, like, oh, brother, I'm ready. Like he pledges himself to ISIS. He's training. He sends videos of himself with firearms back to his ISIS buddies all the time. Just classic showing off, whatever. There are things that make
does
them.
Somebody who's staying illegally in United States get so easy access to firearm?
This is a problem, and I hope they're looking into this gun range because this is not legal. This is not legal. So anyways, although if you are a tourist in the US, you can go to a gun range.
I mean, but not if you're a tourist who has overstayed his.
Yeah, but how are they supposed to know that he's here? He might have a legal
He
ID.
should be
He
in
might
the
have a legal
system. Like if
identification for
you
all I know.
if you like, shouldn't be some where a system where it says this man came, he was supposed to leave, and he did not leave, and then it's in the system that this guy
Okay.
is illegal, and do not give him a
Oh,
gun.
Canadian. Oh, my sweet Canadian prince. Okay, it's very cute that you think that we should have more checks and balances on who operates a firearm, and we can like barely get the basics of screening. So we're not gonna get a complicated system that's checking visa status federally. That's adorable. It's not gonna happen. We can barely get a system that says like if you've been charged and found guilty of domestic violence or like have a mental disorder, you're not allowed to do
Okay.
from this
It
from
seems
the
like an
mouth
easy
of
fix,
babes, as we say. Yeah, from Armin's lips to God's ears, exactly. Okay.
I mean, it
Basically,
seems like an easy fix. Like you just have one centralized database that anybody who's selling gun has to verify with. Like it doesn't seem like a complicated. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, but also like states' rights, federalism. Like we never have stuff that's centralized. We like it's so hard to get centralized stuff in the U.S. It's just kind of not how we operate. So basically, they think that he was trying to obtain an illegal firearm. Okay, so it goes through like thank God I am ready, brother. Wow, praise be upon God, brother. This is perfect, brother. Like, I don't know. The text messages and the way that they talk to each other are so funny. Okay, so now let's go into the immigration fraud. This was not the part of the complaint I was expecting to find so interesting. So basically, like we said, one of his family members turned him in. And now it starts to go into his relationship with individual 3. Okay, we don't know who this is. We have no idea who this is. All we know is that this was someone born in the Bronx who lives in the Bronx, who never lived with this guy. They didn't know each other. And I'm going to do a spoiler. Look, she's a stripper.
So we have ISIS hiring strippers to be fake wives.
Yeah.
This is where we are.
Yeah.
Before GTA 6.
And personally, when I think of a stripper from the Bronx, I think of Cardi B. So in my head, he's like married to Cardi B. I don't know. I don't know who this woman is, what she looks like, but that's what I think of, That's the most famous stripper from the Bronx that I know. So basically, they when was this? In March of 2017.
I want to see the communication between ISIS and a stripper. Like I want to see those.
You're about to. Wait,
really?
You're about to.
We have that. We have Islamists communicating with strippers, and we have the. Okay, give me.
This is why I told you this story is so much better than the headline.
Okay, we should have put this in the headline. This stream would have been like we have. This should.
I could change it for the clip. I could say like the ISIS member who married a stripper.
Yes, please. I mean, I think the stream would have been so many. There would be more people here if there was a stripper.
Dude, I can change it. I can change it after this. I swear to God. So let's walk through this. So basically, they get married, and they basically meet like on the day that they get married or something. They only meet like twice, and then shortly afterwards, they file a petition to become a lawful permanent resident as her spouse. And basically, you have to get legally married, and then you can petition for permanent resident status or visa, whatever. And the thing is that they try to get this visa or this permanent residence, but they do it fraudulently, or they're missing required documents, and it fails. his petition for permanent status via this marriage fails. So basically, he gets fake married to this stripper. We're going to get into it. She's extorting him for money because of this fake marriage, threatening to send him to immigration.
Oh, she is doing that to him? She is doing that
we're going to get into it. She's blackmailing him because of this fake marriage.
Oh, wow.
And
We have strippers blackmailing ISIS before GTA 6. Wow.
And he's doing this. He's doing all this so that he can get the permanent residence, and that failed. So now he's just getting extorted by a stripper because of this bullshit. Like, it didn't even work.
Wow. Okay.
So what he ends up doing is this original petition was abandoned because he then wants to divorce this woman. He wants to divorce her. And then he files a petition to become a lawful resident. And this pisses me off. And he does this under the Violence Against Women Act because he claimed that he was a victim of domestic violence by this stripper and some male friend of hers. And that basically he's trying to seek protection under the Violence Against Women Act, but and get permanent residence this way, which is something that, like,
wait, what
makes me so angry on a personal level, because people might not know this, but I have like secured funding at my work through the Violence Against Women Act to like fight FGM. And so this act is supposed to be intended towards people who are victims of domestic violence, stalking, dating violence, sexual assault. And this guy is lying about it, misusing it so he can be an ISIS member and maintain legal status here in the US by making up some bullshit that he was abused. It makes me so furious.
So to be clear, the Violence Against Women Act is supposed to protect all sorts of domestic abuse against, to protect all, like, regardless of them being women and men, or women or men, right? Even though woman is in the title, and
basically,
and the man used this law against the woman.
Yeah.
So so basically, you're telling me an ISIS member in United States tried to use the U.S. government to complain about a stripper who is blackmailing him, to claim that this stripper is beating me up. So please, the United States, come protect me and give me
permanent residence.
Protect me, give me permanent residence here because this stripper is beating me up.
Yeah, and some other
government to protect him.
Yeah.
ISIS member is trying to get the United States to protect him from a stripper who's blackmailing him and getting permanent residency so that eventually he could attack the United States. Yeah. This should be a movie.
This is like a law that's intended for like the security of like people who are vulnerable, like immigrant women who are vulnerable or something, and it's just complete abuse of the system. And it pisses me off. Let me tell you why, in case I didn't make it clear, because I know how important this is and I know the good work that this does. And it's shit like this that undermines a program that's really important. You know what I mean? So basically all of his petitions are fraudulent. And he's faking documentation. They obtained, like, basically they made, so basically, okay, now we're going to get into the text messages between them. So basically, they get access to his iCloud account. And personally, I have this vision right now of this special agent, this like federal special agent going through his messages, reading all this stuff. Like, what? I just imagine his spy being like, oh my God, this is a mess. Okay. So basically, the messages show that Mansouri and his stripper wife had paid the stripper to marry him, and that the stripper continually demanded more money and would threaten to report him to the authorities. So their earliest exchanges are from 2020, when the stripper is demanding money to sign divorce papers. Because remember, they got legally married in 2017 to try to get the permanent residence. That failed. They still remained married until 2021 So in 2020, Mansouri is trying to divorce this woman. He's trying to divorce her, and she's extorting him.
Why is he trying to divorce her? Like,
I don't know.
does he
Probably
want that?
because the reason why they got married is to get the petition. It failed. Maybe he wants to try
Right.
doing it again with someone else. I don't know. He just wants
With
he just
someone
wants
else.
out. So
Mhm.
basically the stripper texts him and says, I love this. I wish I could do a Bronx accent because literally you can read the Bronx in the text messages. So not I swear to God, no, just wait. So not to sound like an asshole, but I'm not signing the papers until I get the 2,000 up front. He replies, I don't have that much money. And she says, oh, okay, I'll give you time to save it up, but I'm not signing the papers till I get that. He failed to reply to several messages. And then she sent him, I'm giving you chances and you playing. I see how you moving. I'm trying to be professional and you brushing me off. So I'm going to report this to immigration.
Wow. Wow.
No. We got to read through all this. Since you not picking up, don't look for me to sign any divorce papers because I'm not signing it at all. And basically, okay, the messages reflect that he sent her money and continued to send her money. But then she kept on making more demands for more money to pay bills. In 2021, she texted him complaining that he would not send more money and saying, I'm helping you out to get your papers. At least I'm helping you out to get your papers. The least you can do is help me out when I need it. And then 2021,
Wow.
Mansouri texted back in response to her irregular demands for money and he's saying, we agree. I will send you March 4th and then the next will be April 4th, and said, you must not break the contract, but every time you break. And then she says that no, there was no contract. We made a verbal agreement. Then she says, when we got married, things was told different to me. And you want what you want, and I'm continuing to give it to you, but you don't want to work with me. And then he replies like, look, okay, I'll agree. I'll give you 200 every month. Like this month you get 300. She's saying, first off, we didn't even come to agreement about how much he was giving in total because Elizabeth told me 10K. Then you
Wow.
then you gave her my money when you were supposed to pay me directly. I took a $1,000 loss without me having the knowledge she got me for money. So whoever this Elizabeth is, Elizabeth facilitated this, and Elizabeth took $1,000 from the stripper. So everyone's getting played. Everyone's getting played for money here.
And now she wants 10,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Mansouri is like, okay, if you want to continue this way, I'm not going to send you anything. You can do whatever you want. He's like, fuck you. I'm not sending you anything. And he's like, okay, so pay me for the divorce then. You want papers, but you don't want to pay the right price for another girl who would have got you for a lot more. So the stripper is saying, oh, big man, he wants the papers, but another girl would have forced you to pay it a lot more. I'm giving you a deal and you can't even do that. But another girl would have got a lot more. And then she continues, I'm going to just speak to immigration. My sister's married the same way. The same way I am. She knows the system. She's helping me.
Wow.
She's saying, my sister also committed immigration fraud, marriage fraud. She knows the system. She's helping me. We're going to go to the authorities and fuck you over. And when, this, sorry, this is so messy. This is so messy. On 1 month, he didn't send her the money. He didn't send her the 200. He didn't get her 200. And so she sends him, since you've been completely ignoring me, I am not filing for divorce. You're just going to be stuck since you want to keep playing me like I'm stupid, changing my number. Don't look for me. You want to see your family, play for the divorce. If not, then you will never get your papers.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Wow. This is amazing.
Oh. Again, I wish I could do an actual Bronx accent because that would make this 10 times better.
This needs to be turned into a show.
Oh my God. So basically, then that's kind of like kind of the end of like the situation with the messages from the stripper. So then what happens is that they find other messages that he sent. And basically, Mansouri, this Tajik national, what he appears to be doing is he appears to be working illegally at like a moving company, like moving furniture, And so he's texting a colleague, and he is texting one of his coworkers discussing his fake marriage. And so this coworker, individual 4, is asking him, "Oh, have your friends also found you American wives to get green cards?" And he's like, "No, my friends haven't been successful in that. They haven't." And then his coworker asks him, "How did you find your American wife?" And he goes, "Oh, I thought I already told you the story." And then his coworker goes, "Oh, you didn't tell me the story, the details. You just said that you got married for a green card and she left." And Mansouri goes, "Yes." And then his coworker goes, "Why didn't you actually marry her? Did you not like her?" And he says, "No, I don't like her because she drinks a lot and she is a dancer somewhere dancing. Honestly, I don't know. We met twice, this affection for the wedding, and the second time I gave her money." So basically, they've only met each other in person twice. Once to be cute and affectionate, to show up at the court to get legally married, and the second time to give her money. And then he said that his fake wife, well, his legal wife, has an unofficial husband. And then his coworker says, his coworker said, "Dancer is another word for stripper, LOL." And he goes, "Yes, she is a stripper, LOL." So me reading this complaint yesterday, I was like, man, who is this lady from the Bronx? Like, this is wild. What's going on here? Because clearly she's involved in some sort of like underworld, right? To have a whole network of people involved in these in marriage fraud and fake marriages. I'm like, I bet she's involved in kind of a seedy business. And then it's like, oh yeah, she's a stripper.
Right.
And then his coworker says, "Oh, well, these women don't marry more than once, right? Or else the government will know that they do it for money." Basically saying, well, they can't fake marry people. It can't be like a rotating wheel. The government will figure it out. And he's just saying, Mansouri replies, "Yes, they do it for the money." And he's saying, "No, I mean, they can't do it more than once because they'll get caught. It's illegal." And Mansouri goes, "Yes, you're right." And so basically, I mean, if we want to talk about incentives and motivations, that's why the stripper is asking for her money. She's like, this is my one-time come up to get a smooth 10K. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get another opportunity to extort a man with a fake marriage because I can't do this multiple times because the government will find out.
Yeah.
Well, they found out anyways, sister.
This was my one shot, so you better pay 10K. 2K is not worth it. Like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Darko, girl knows her worth.
You know what's so funny is because these people came to the US, like this man, with the mindset of being part of this group that tries to take down the United States, right? And it's funny how one American stripper is basically, he cannot handle that, let alone the rest of the United States. Like, forget the U.S. Army and intelligence. You can't even defeat a single American
one stripper from the Bronx.
that woman stand the rest of America aside. That just one woman just managed to defeat you,
dude. I mean, low key, a stripper that might be the final boss. This might be the final boss, is a stripper from the Bronx.
Wow.
Dee's saying, wait until she finds out he sent 70K.
Oh shit! Yeah, to those ISIS women. Fuck.
Like, oh, you broke ass! You couldn't send me 200 a month. You're spending 70K to a bunch of.
Good point. Oh my
god! Yeah, okay. Team. Our first and strongest line of defense.
Yes,
dude. Yes. She had him on the ropes. Look, I know what she was doing was illegal, but I love this woman, like, just making this piece of shit's life hell. You know, she's like being stuck in that. Let me be clear. If you're with someone and they're using your immigration status to abuse you, that's unacceptable and it's not okay. And there are resources for you. But this piece of shit deserves it.
Right.
He's not here legally. Like, oh my God. Yeah. So
I want this man to contact his ISIS contacts around the Middle East and Syria and Tajikistan and Turkey and everyone, and like tell them, like, guys, listen, if the rest of these Americans are anything like this stripper, we have zero chance. Like, fuck this shit. I thought like America is undefeatable. Okay, like I tell you that by experience. This was just one of them. I don't know about the rest.
Strippers fighting terrorism. So I would like to give a shout out to the stripper. Well, actually, I mean, she deserves to face consequences and be charged for facilitating this fake marriage, which kept a wannabe terrorist in our country. Let me be clear. Okay. But you know who's the real American hero here? You know, this is what we should actually say. You know who's the real American hero here? The real hero here is the man's relative that turned him in. It said, this man is dangerous. He's a threat. I'm afraid of him. He's committed domestic violence. He needs to be turned in. And they made the brave choice, even though they were afraid, because it talks about in the record that the person was afraid that he would be killed, or she would be killed if this guy found out that he turned him in, and they still did it. So whoever you are, wherever you are a true American hero. Thank you. Thank you.
And the other people we need to thank is the American intelligence and security agents that are constantly trying to monitor these things and keeping you safe, like all the intelligence.
Oh, in fact, I can tell you exactly who. We can give a special thank you to Special Agent Jack Amaro.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you.
Special Agent of the FBI, Jack Amaro. Thank you for your service, Mr. Amaro.
Thank you for your service, sir. Yes. Let me actually put this. Why can't I, before presenting,
guys, see, this is why I make the effort, because I was like busy this weekend. There's like a family stuff going on. Like, I was like, oh, do I have time to read the complaint? No, this is why you read the complaint, because none of the news reports were talking about his drama with the stripper. So, it was a diversion, but I thought it was worth it.
That was good. Yeah. All right. So, what is these comments that she found? Like, let's look at these first.
Occasion is saying immediate citizenship for that relative. Shouts out if they're not already. I don't know.
Yeah, if they're not already. Yeah. I mean, that's not how it works, but yeah, I see what you mean. But anyways, you want to read these comments?
We have enough anti-Americans born here. No need to import them. Here's the thing. Like, okay, I understand the sentiment. Like, he's not being imported. He came legally on a tourist visa. Then he overstayed his visa. That's illegal. He's undocumented. Like, that's not importing. I don't know. Like, is people coming as a tourist importing? That's not usually how I think of it.
Yeah, and Tajikistan is also not one of those countries that are that the citizens are much of a concern. So I don't know how you should have just monitored. Like, there should be a better system when it comes somebody overstays their tourist visa. I just think that it should be a better system to just find them and get them out. Like, this person was just like working. Like, as soon as he didn't return, there should be some alarm bells somewhere in the system going out and like, okay, yeah, let's send somebody and find this person and deport them. Like that. I'm not mad that this man was allowed in. I'm mad that why is it not. I don't know the details of how these things works, but I don't understand why is it so hard that if somebody overstays their visa, something in the system should be like, yeah, go find this person and deport them. Like, is that really that hard? That's the part I don't understand.
Well, I mean, let me be clear. ICE has a lot of that documentation. They do. But New York is a sanctuary city. They're extremely constrained in what they can do within New York because it's a sanctuary city. If we want to be all the way real, that's part of what's happening here.
Yeah, so the federal government should not allow that. Like sanctuary city, what the bullshit is like? Well, like this is federal law. I don't understand. Anyways, I don't.
Well, and
understand.
that's what this administration is doing now. They want to strip federal funding from states and cities that are not complying with federal law.
Hey, Amikai has a good title suggestion.
Yeah, no, she really said, "Bitch, better have my money." Where's my money?
Bitch, better have my money. Strip her to terrorist. That's a good title. Yes. Okay. What about this one?
Yeah, this person is saying the same thing. Huge props to that relative for speaking out. Thank you, whoever you are.
Yes, thank you. Okay, that was good. All right, let's go to the super chats. The next news is so.
Can we just talk about how much I enjoyed that news?
That was really good. I think so many people in the chat. I don't know if you were watching the chat when you were reading the comments. People were fucking loving it. This is so good.
I still can't get over like when I was reading the complaint, I was not expecting this, and I'm so glad.
It's weird that like this should have been picked up. Like, how come? Like the news around this is like the whole like this seems to be something so juicy that should have been exploding right now. But I'm glad that you went and read all of that because other people didn't pick up on that. That's amazing that you did that. Thank you.
Well, because what they're probably doing when the DOJ releases their complaints and stuff, they release kind of almost like a cover sheet, which is just statements about it and the base facts. And journalists usually only report on that. And like go into the complaint to pull a few photos and like that's it. They don't get in. See, sorry, I'm just
this is why we need Susie. She goes and digs these things, and D also. Thank you guys. Like
again, like I know that terrorist guy, whatever, but this is hysterical. Like this is so funny. I'm not trying to downplay that this is serious, but like you have to laugh where you can.
We should.
Another girl would have got you for a lot more.
We could like, if we had more time and resources, we should have gone somebody with the proper accents on both sides to reenact the back and forth between these two.
Someone should do
that. Just do a whole show. Just doing that. I mean, we could do that with AI. I don't know. Yeah, but that would be funny if we could do that. That was fantastic.
So let's go through the super chats. Durga. Oh, hi, Durga. Good to see you. Is sending a super chat, just promoting us, saying like and subscribe. Yes, please like and subscribe. Thank you, Durga.
Yes.
Gaijin is celebrating his membership, which is an amazing reminder that the best way to support the channel is to become a member. Hit the join button down below. You get cute emojis and all sorts of members only stuff. And Gaijin, once again, in his world of totalitarian neuroscience, saying, should brain scans lower pew range fees? I think you mean offer.
Yeah.
Should brain scans like be required at gun range?
No, I think he's talking about consent, like voluntarily. Like, for example, you go and get his brain scan, and if you're shown that, like, not a mandatory brain scan, but if you just allow it to happen to you, then you get, like, for example, more access, easier access. Okay, I don't think it makes sense for the business to make it cheaper. I think the regulatory bodies or insurance companies would give you less regulations or more discounts if with a brain scan, if that ever becomes a thing. But I don't think it makes sense for somebody to give
what kind of brain scan are we talking about here? Are we talking about an MRI? Are we talking about an fMRI? Those are insanely expensive.
He's talking about brain scans that do not yet exist. Brain scans in the future that could show that you are somebody that don't mean harm. And I think that shouldn't, if that becomes ever technology, I don't think it should be mandatory, but it doesn't. But given that the market is free, the companies should be allowed to give you discounts if you voluntarily go through it. Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, what are we talking about? Like an MRI? Look, I worked in an MRI lab. Like we're in a helium shortage. Like this is not a cheap thing to do.
I don't think he's talking about MRI. Yeah, but yeah.
Gajan also said Mufti Armin. Oh, Armin, put on your Mufti hat. Okay, everyone, Mufti Armin emojis.
I need to get him. I need to get a Mufti hat and just put it on my head every time somebody says that.
Honestly, we should buy that. But everyone, in absence of a Mufti hat, please put the Mufti Armin emoji in the live chat. Okay, say Mufti Armin. Would it be permissible to wear AI glasses or headset that auto blurs anything remotely feminine or that triggers lustful brain patterns? So you have an AI glasses headset that just is like a visual hijab.
Oh yeah, no, that's fantastic.
It just
of course,
hijabs everything you see.
Hijabs everything. Yeah, no, that's actually, yeah, of course. So here's the thing: you have to just. It's easy to figure out if this is halal or haram. You just have to think about what the result would be. If it helps you not be tempted, then obviously not only is permissible, it has savab. This is what you're saying, right? If you're trying to create a barrier between yourself and temptations to sin, Islamically, it's more than permissible. It is something that is seen is encouraged, right? So yes, this would be allowed.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, the personifications of this stripper are so funny to me. Who you think you're fronting on? Stripper to terrorist.
That's good.
Gajan is saying strippers should charge at least $30,000 for a green card. Disgrace. Disgrace to the family. Is this Persian?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
wait.
yes. Thank you
how
for
are
the
you?
super
He's saying,
chat.
how are you?
Yes,
Hello, how
salam.
are you?
So apparently Semper just has went and learned a few Persian phrases. So she's here, showing us that she's learning Persian. So yeah, salam. She's saying salam حال شما چطوره? Saying hi, how are you? Merci.
In reply.
شما خوب هستین? Yes, I just said like merci. شما خوب هستین? There we go. I don't know.
And Amit, thank you, Amit, for the 6 shekels, saying when life is funnier than fiction. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dude, this is what we do it for.
This is what
God.
we're here for. Okay. So this next news seems to be also one of those that we get to enjoy a lot.
I'm not even the amount of Schadenfreude I'm already feeling is a little bit too much.
Ooh. Today is a good day to be on Atheist Republic. It's not, yeah, this is fantastic. Okay, loving this one. Okay, guys, get ready. This one is exciting. This is gonna make you happy.
I'm sorry, I need to like calm down. Okay.
All right. So clappable, of course.
Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Hezbollah leader's son admits he was in tears after the Israeli pager attack. Hezbollah's top terrorist leader, Hassan Nasrallah, was reportedly left in tears after Israel's brutal pager attack on his militant group in Lebanon last September. In a rare display of weakness, his son, Javad Nasrallah, admitted on a Hezbollah-affiliated Al-Manar TV that the attack shattered his father, leaving him, quote, slaughtered from his neck to his heart, cut in two. The strike, which took out numerous Hezbollah operatives, including top military commander Fuad Shukr, visibly broke the terror chief. Quote, there were times I didn't even want to hear his voice. Later, I learned that he was crying, Javad confessed. His sister Zainab confirmed the humiliation, saying their mother told her that Nasrallah wept over the attack, and even doctors treating the wounded Hezbollah fighters were stunned by the devastation. Israel's precision strike didn't just eliminate key Hezbollah operatives, it made their leader depressed.
I don't know if you guys realize how devastating this news is to all the Shia propagandists online. In fact, it's so devastating because this blew up like a bomb on Iranian social media.
Oh, I didn't
And
know
don't know
that.
if
Wait,
you.
what?
Oh my God! Of course it would, because the whole Shia narrative is that we are always victorious. Do you understand how fucking devastating this was to all the people on the Shia side? That, oh, this is nothing but a scratch. That we are always victorious. We stand strong. They fear us. We're victorious. Like, it was so bad that some of us are wondering, why is he saying this part out loud? Like, is he trying to humiliate their own side? I want people have to understand that the Shia side it's very important. It's very important for them to maintain the appearance that they are strong. They will never back down. They will never bend the knee. That they are actually always the victorious one. That this is nothing. That it's the enemy that is actually cheering up and scaring and pissing themselves. It's very important for their narrative for this to be. Yeah, exactly. Susie brought this up. Exactly. This is the Shia way. Like, and it's a very important strategy for them. Like, it's important for them to maintain this appearance for constant recruitment, to keep morale up. So I have no idea why Nasrullah's son came out and said all of this. And Susie made me download the video, which she's going to play. She's going to play everything he said. Like, people can. Some people in Lebanon explained to me, because in Iran this was being shared all over Iranian social media, and the anti-regime Iranians were using this to make fun of all the Arzashis, all the Iranian Islamists who are pro-regime, and they're like, "Where are you now? What happened to you now? This was your leader. This is the leader that you were praising, that you all said that he stood strong until the very last moment." And this was such a victory moment. Like, guys, I am not exaggerating when I say this was a second death of Nasrallah. This was a second death of Nasrallah. This was even a more of a death, because to a Shia mind, Nasrallah dying isn't really him dying, because his memory and him standing strong and his leadership still lives on, and he still lives in. A martyr never dies in their mind. Okay, a martyr still continues and maintains his influence and presence through his spirit, through his soul. So this was the second death of Nasrallah. That's how important this was. But go on, Susie, you want to say something?
Oh no, let's
Yeah,
watch
right,
let's
legacy.
watch the clip.
Oh yeah, okay.
Should I be the person that oops. Should I pause and read, or should you pause and read?
No, people prefer listening to you, I know.
Okay.
Than to me, so you go ahead and
do it. Excuse me. Okay, let's watch. After the killing of Haj Mohsen, meaning Fahad Shukr, then the pager attack, and until his final days, he was spiritless and sad.
يقولوا بيجان يعني وبيحال انه
مهموم حزين
ما في روح ما في مراء اذا بدك محزون بالضبط
هاي الكلمة الجنوبية
يعني
You could feel that he was depressed. He was not disparate.
ما له مهجع شيء انتبه مش يأس بس واحد مجروح.
But you could see that he was hurt.
يعني واحد انت
You could see that he was slaughtered from his neck to his heart, cut in two.
ذبحيته من رقبته من وريده لقلبه شقيته. طب شو بده يحكي؟
What could he say?
يعني أنا أوقات لدرجة
There were times that I did not like to hear his voice when he was like that.
يحبش اسمع صوته هو هيك لأنه كيف تسمعي صوته
you listen to him seeking encouragement.
وبتاخدي روح فيه بس تسمعي صوته هيك.
But once you hear his voice like that, it hurts your heart. So he's saying, like, I'm seeking encouragement from you, but you're so depressed, it's bumming me out. When I'm trying to come to you for you to lift me up, and I'm like, oh no, he's in a bad way. This is not good.
بيوجعك قلبك. أنا طبعا بعدين عرفت
Later, I learned that he was crying.
إنه بكي.
البيجر
The pager attack made him cry.
أبكاه.
مش بس أبكي.
It's not just that. I met with people who would see him and talk to him.
أنا كنت عم أقعد مع
ناس
بعض
كانوا معه.
مين شافه وحكى بقول السيد.
They said that he was one man before the pager attack and a different man after.
قبل البيجر كان شيء بعد البيجر واحد تاني.
الشباب البيجر اللي
Okay, so this is his daughter. So he's saying the men who were wounded in the pager attack.
كان هن فعلا يعني جراحات حتى دكاترة
Even the doctors who treated them and said they've never seen such things.
اللي كانوا عم بيعالجوا قال نحن بعدنا ما شايفين هيك مشاهد فقلت أنا بدي
I knew it was painful for him, but I wanted to know what his reaction was.
أعرف هو مع إني أنا عارفة إنه هو متألم بس إنه بدي أعرف شو كانت ردة الفعل بالضبط فقالت لي كان عم
And my mother told me that he was crying.
I just want to say this is what you get, motherfuckers, when you come for innocent people. And I also want to thank the IDF, and I also want to know how proud Israeli people are of their military and their intelligence operation. You destroyed this man before you killed him. The man that came for your safety and your security and the lives of your children. The man that supported the annihilation of all of you, and your entire country. Your intelligence operations and your country's army broke the man. Let this be a lesson to all the enemies of Israel. This is what happens to you if you go to harm Israel, if you try to harm Israel. This is the end for everybody who dares attack Israel. Your God didn't save you. Your God even didn't give you hope. This man was broken. This man that is supposed to be for martyrdom, for afterlife, his God is supposed to keep him strong. It didn't. This was the best of you. This was the best of you, and he was supposed to stay strong until the very last moment and never be broken under this much pressure. And the best of you crumbled, and he died before dying, and he died after dying. He died inside before dying, and then he really died. And now, because we all know this, his legacy died as well.
Dude.
Thank you,
You know what
Mossad.
Yeah. You know what I think about? There's a verse in Genesis that says, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you. And like the IDF like lives that out. Like I will curse you. And think about the Islamic Republic right now. Think about how cursed they are right now. Like this is no joke. This is no joke. But I want to hear more about how this interview has been like reverberating in the Shia and Persian space, because I actually didn't know that.
Oh yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, imagine the Iranian people constantly being lectured by the pro-regime people in Iran that, oh, we're still victorious. You guys who think Israel has won, you don't understand the spirit of the people of God. You know, the party. You don't understand us. You guys don't know that this is exactly the position that we want to be in. The people of God, the Shias, they were always victorious because they know that God is on their side. They know that, and they always will be. This looks like a defeat because you are off this world. You guys who think that this is defeat, you are off this world. So you don't understand why we are the victorious ones. I'm like, oh yeah, really? Well, let's listen to the children of your hero on the front line. Let's listen to the children. Let's see how victorious were you. I mean, this is not, we are not saying this. His children are saying this.
Why do you think they would say this?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to figure out, because this is such a huge blow to all the propaganda that we have been brought up with, that I am trying to understand who's responsible for putting this out there
on like Hezbollah TV.
Yeah, well, like, what are they like trying to get people to like? Are the people who are in control so terrified that they're trying to get people to just shut the fuck up and not intimidate, like, those down the intimidation, and be like, guys, look, we actually are fucked. Can you please stop with this whole warmongering narrative, because there will be nothing left of us anymore if we continue with this. We're still here, you didn't do anything. Because like Hamas, for example, Hamas in Gaza is constantly putting videos out there pretending like nothing happened to them and they're still standing, and this was like this was nothing but a scratch. Okay, and all of these videos from Gaza are being shown in Israel, and Israelis are like, okay, well, let's just go fuck these people up then as soon as our hostages are released. Like they are saying we didn't finish the job, so can we please, let's go back in there. And like, there's a lot of public anger. When you see Hamas coming with their guns and their uniforms, there's going to be more demand in Israel to go in. And so I understand that from a Hamas perspective and from a Hezbollah perspective, why it might sense to constantly pretend like nothing happened to them and they're victorious, because they need that to maintain support, right? But on the other hand, then your enemies, the voter base of your enemies is going to want their politicians to use the army to go and punish you and destroy you because you are telling them that nothing happened. I mean, the cartoon that you showed, look what happened to that guy when he constantly said, this is nothing but a scratch. Like, he got more pieces of him cut off. So this might, if Hezbollah comes and says like, oh my God, we're strong, nothing happened. I mean, a lot of people, especially a lot of people more right-leaning, even more right-leaning than average in Israel, are going to use that propaganda to show to other people, like, listen, look at this. I mean, this is going to work for them as well. Like, so I think maybe, I mean, this is the only thing that comes to my mind. I don't know if people could come up with other reasons. Let us know in the comment section. Maybe the reason is that they're trying to dial it down, and some people within the higher ups in Hezbollah are saying like, no, actually, guys, we actually have been defeated. Like, this is real. Like, we've been fucked. Like, please stop. Maybe.
Yeah. Because then also, that's interesting. Like, psychologically, if your base thinks that you're like constantly winning, or they have this demand, like, they're gonna ask more and expect more. And they're like, no, we can't do that.
Right. No, you're so on point, because this is what the Islamic Republic is dealing with right now. Okay, the Islamic Republic has raised a radical following base in Iran that they would not be satisfied if, like, right now, one of the main complaints of the radicals in Iran against the regime is, why aren't we not attacking Israel for the third time? Because you constantly told the space that we are so strong against Israel that if they do anything to us, Khamenei, for example, we have him on camera saying that if Israel does even the slightest thing against the Islamic Republic, he will turn the entirety of Tel Aviv and Haifa to rubble. He promised that. And so you raised a following.
And before you know it, your airspace is being violated and you didn't notice until it was already over.
Not only that, Susie, not only that, when When Assad was falling, Khamenei came out and said that we couldn't even enter Syria. They closed down the sky. He said they closed down the skies, they closed down the ground, and we couldn't go to Syria. You couldn't even go to Syria to save Assad, let alone Israel. So it's very humiliating, but you have to meet the expectations that you created. All of this, what is it called? How do we say Rajas Khuni? Guys, Iranians in the live chat, what is the best translation for Rajas Khuni? Just barking with no bite. Like all of these years of barking, now when you have to, you know how there are some dogs that behind the gate, they're like barking, and then as soon as you open the gate, they like go in the corner, right? Yeah, it's basically that. But they have been barking for the past 40 years. And all of that barking has made a lot of their followings expecting an actual devastating bites, right? And if you don't deliver, then your base is going to be like, what the fuck is happening? Why are we so pathetically weak? And you're going to lose that base. That's very dangerous for them.
Can we watch the video of the dogs with the gate?
Do you have that?
I do actually. Wait. Oh my god, we don't have to. It's so funny.
No, do it.
Okay.
Do it.
Wait 1 second. Oh my god.
This is it's the Shia way, actually. So let's show it to illustrate exactly what we're talking about here.
1 second. Yeah, here we go. Oh. Come on. Oh, stop. There we go. Okay.
I didn't close it. And then nothing again.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's like you don't really want this beef. Like, wait, why won't it add? What's happening? There we go.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Barrier aggression, that's a good. Yeah, exactly. So they're saying, that's the real Rajas Khani. So in Iran, we call that Rajas Khani. So I don't know what's the proper translation. It's the Shia way. It's actually a Shia thing to do, Rajas Khuni, which they come and like, we're gonna fuck you up. We're so strong. Our enemies are weak. Promising that at some point they're gonna turn the White House into a Hosseiniya. All of that stuff. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this is good. This is good because this is happening in Iran as well. And what you're witnessing here is the key to toppling the Islamic Republic in Tehran. Because, I don't think we have no amount of foreign military attack is actually going to be the final, push for toppling the Islamic Republic. And even though it might be an important factor. And also people coming into the streets and protesting against the government, that's also an important factor. But because the people of Iran are not armed, but the Iranian regime is heavily armed, that also it's important, but it's not going to be enough. The main last push that is going to throw this regime off the cliff, if that ever happens, is the people in the regime in Iran turning on themselves. And one of the main factors that is going to do that is the regime disappointing its radical base. The radical base that it has constantly propagandized by showing how strong they are when it comes to enforcing Islamic laws and how strong they are against the enemies of Islam. And when Israel humiliates the Islamic Republic, that is one factor that helps the people turn on their own regime. And when Iranian women take off their hijab and the regime is incapable of enforcing it, that is another element that is going to make this radical base of the regime think that this is not the Islamic regime that we did the revolution for, and this is going to turn them against each other. Anyways,
let's go through the comments.
Yes.
This person's like, no
What
one
is it?
cares. No,
Nobody.
this woman is wrong though. Like a lot of people care.
Yeah.
A lot
A
of
lot
people
of people
care.
care. Yeah. A bunker buster a day keeps the sadness away. By the way, Israel has now access to much better bunker busters because of Trump. So we think that might be in preparation for a war coming, right? The
Yeah.
bunker busters that Biden did not sell to Israel, Trump is selling them to Israel. So we'll see what happens. I'm
Take
gonna
out
go
the
over
nuclear
those.
sites.
Yes,
Do it.
yes.
Um,
Oh, but
Hamas would
Hamas
call
would
that
call
winning.
I mean, no, not when you admit that the man was broken. There's no
Yeah.
defending that. Yeah.
Okay, so we got to a few more super chats. Also, when you were in the middle of talking, John said, "Whoa, that saw in my butt really hurts," and I lost it.
Yeah.
Um,
If you know, you know. Yeah.
You highlighted this comment from Sohail in Persian.
Yes, so Hale is saying when what's her name is when Semper was saying how are you doing? So Sohail responded saying "Ma khubim, shoma khub hastin," saying we are good. How are you? But then he also continued because this is the reason why I started. Sohail said به سوزانه بگو دلمون براش تو بخش فارسی تنگ شده. So Sohail says tell Susanna that we miss her on the Persian side.
Oh, that's so sweet. Me too. It's been a
Yeah.
while since I've done a stream on the Persian side. I really need to.
Yeah.
We can just chit chat about
Anytime.
bullshit. And Kenny gifted 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you, Kenny. That's so generous. Again, everyone, the best way to support the show is to become a member on Atheist Republic. So please join down below. And then this was quite entertaining to me. So we got a super chat from Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
From
nice.
Radical Nusas saying, "You're pathetic. Threaten the Arab world with Israel." Like he's
Is
like
this-
this person is like their butt hurt.
Are you sure this is not like he's not joking? Because he gave us a super chat.
I know, that's why. I
And
find
also
this
that's not how you
hysterical.
spell. That's not. I mean, when you call people pathetic, try to spell.
I know he censored
your
it like it's a
properly.
curse word. Like pathetic is not a curse word.
No, yeah, but it's not. That's not how you say your when you want to try it. When you want to say you are, okay. So you look pathetic when you can't spell. When you call other people pathetic, and also thank you for the super chat. We will try to use your super chat in our pro-Israeli narratives. Your every single cent that you support or whatever your currency is will go
Saudi riyals.
towards Saudi riyals that you gave us will just go directly into pro-Zionist agenda.
Yes.
So you just supported you funded Zionism.
You funded that.
Radicals. You funded.
We're being funded by Saudi Arabia. Yes, and many Israelis too.
Okay, but first of all, actually, there are many people in Saudi Arabia do actually like Israel. Okay, maybe not this guy, but there are many people in Saudi Arabia that actually do like Israel, right? And the Arab world you threaten the Arab world with Israel. No, we don't threaten the Arab world with Israel. The Arab world is moving towards Israel. Why do we need to threaten the Arab world with Israel when the Arab world and Israel are getting closer together? They don't threaten each other. In fact, Israel, one of the main reasons why Israel is safer against the Islamic Republic is because it's getting closer to the Arab world. So I don't know. I think you don't understand what's happening. Maybe sometimes follow the news a little bit more closely. So yeah. There's that.
Also, Ali is saying Amis Chai from Iran. Amazing work, everyone.
Yes.
Thanks, Ali. Aw, sweet. Merci, Ali.
Thank you. That's
look at our channel. Look at our community. And finally, I wanted to bring this up because a lot of people have been asking us about all this stuff going on in Syria. Armin, do you think you would do a stream about that? Because it's so like dense and there's so much to get into. Do you think you'd be
Yes.
interested in doing a stream
Yeah,
on that? Because a lot of
if
people
there's
are
the
asking
yeah,
for it.
I would love to. I would love to. So if there's demand for it, I would love to do that. Yeah, so for sure, if you guys want it. Yeah, Syria situation is very interesting. It's actually
Well,
there's
tragic.
so many factors. Yes, but it's also very complicated. We have the Turkey groups in the north, we have the SDF, we have ISIS, we have Jolani, which his name is Shar now. Shar. Why he keeps changing his name? And then we have the Druze in the south. We have Israel protecting the Druze, but with the same excuse, maintaining a presence over the Golan Heights and the Hermon Mountain, and having a superiority like radar, because of being in the Hermon Mountains, it has now complete access, visibility over that entire area, which extremely reduces any potential threat to Israel from the north, which is amazing. We have the current new government being threatened from some radicals from within. So yeah, it's very interesting. We have Turkey and Israel being potentially on two sides of this now. Turkey being maybe strategically being now potentially a threat to Israel, but not like directly, but maybe indirectly, because Turkey and Israel will never go to war, given that.
Armin, I'm sorry,
like
we need to move forward.
Oh yeah, okay.
If you want to talk about it, you should do a stream.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, sorry. You just opened that.
I know. But guys, if you want it, please tell us. And also, I just wanted to finish off with Rox is saying, I'm Saudi and I don't hate Israel, by the way.
Oh, see? Amazing. Wait, Rox, you're great. You're fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that.
Okay, so let's move to the next story. And we can clap. Yes.
Okay. Next news.
Ramadan tyranny arrested for eating in public. In another display of Islamist oppression, more than 20 Muslims in northern Nigeria's Kano state have been arrested simply for eating in public during Ramadan, with 5 more detained for selling food. The state's Sharia police, the Hezbollah, have vowed to continue their crackdown, with the deputy commander Mujahid Aminuddin declaring, quote, we won't condone that, and that's why we went out to make arrests. The religious enforcers even rely on tip-offs from outraged citizens to hunt down those daring to eat before sundown. Those caught are hauled before a Sharia court and punished accordingly. Unlike last year, when some were released after promising to comply. Adding to the authoritarian absurdity, the Hezbollah also confirmed that they've arrested people for inappropriate haircuts. I want to know what that means. They're arresting people for inappropriate haircuts, for wearing shorts, and for even tricycle drivers, like on the little motorcycles, whatever, little buggy drivers, mixing male and female passengers on their little motorized tricycle. So they're arresting people for this. While non-Muslims are exempt, the message is clear. In Kano, violating Islamic law, even for just eating, comes with serious consequences. So yeah, bad haircuts are not allowed during Ramadan. Now, I want to know what an inappropriate haircut could be. I don't know.
I mean, I'm very familiar with that. This used to get us in trouble in Iran all the time. Haircuts that look like kind of like, I don't know, like makes you look like a punk or like radical, or like weird cuts here and there, like making it colorful here, or making your half of your head bald over there, or long hair for men, feminine looking hair for men. Anything that is not basically the norm.
Yeah.
This is hijab for men, by the way.
Well, and the shorts are hijab for men too. A lot of people don't know this, but the part of the male body that is their hijab is basically from the belly button to the knees. So a man is supposed to cover, according to some schools of thought, from the belly button to the knees. That, and then
But
also that
yeah,
lowering the gaze
but
is
in
their
Iran,
hijab.
it depends on who you ask. Depends on which, because in Iran, men would get in trouble back in the day, not now, but like when I was in Iran, we would get in trouble for wearing like this is like me showing too much skin. This
You whore.
I would.
You slut.
All right.
Sorry. Calling men sluts is like so funny to me always. Look at how much he likes
it. Oh god.
No, but Armin, I want to hear about your stories of like trying to hide food during Ramadan and stuff. You have some great stories, and the stories of the tube with the coffee and the beard. Can you tell that story?
Yes. Before I mention those stories, may I remind everybody, please stay, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated. Don't let anybody tell you that dry fasting is good for you. That's fucking bullshit. Even if there's types of fasting that could potentially be good for some people given certain conditions, that is water fasting, meaning that you don't eat food for a period of time, but you drink water. There's almost no benefit, unless you're very rare situations, to people not drinking water for a long period of time. Islamic fasting is extremely harmful. Okay, not because you're not eating food, that's fine, but because you're not drinking water for a very long period of time. That is fucking horrible. That's not recommended. Stay hydrated, drink a lot of water, do not fast, do not dry fast, which is the Islamic type of fasting, right? So there's that.
Oh, and also to everyone in our community who is forced to fast right now, like Wikar, and we have a lot of other people in our community who are being forced to dry fast right now. Organizations like Faithless Hijabi have a lot of resources to teach you how to secretly break your fast and not get caught. So there are resources for the ex-Muslims who are forced to fast right now.
Yeah, but stay safe, people. Okay. So in Iran, when I was in Tehran University, there was this corner that people who brought food would go hide there to eat their food, right, during Ramadan, right? And there was also these ways that when we brought food, we had to use we had to make sure that the smell, because we would carry it in our backpack, right? And if you didn't wrap it properly, then your backpack would smell like food, and that you would be exposing yourself. You're carrying illegal material. It's like, during Ramadan, food becomes like drugs. Like when you carry, like you feel like a drug dealer, when you're carrying food. Like this is illegal stuff, right?
Especially because Persian food is like so aromatic. Like I'm trying to imagine like carrying a gourmet sabzi around and like not having someone smell that. Or like a fesanjoon. Well, like you're gonna smell a fesanjoon.
I mean, to be fair, in Iran we do have sandwiches and other food like that. That's not like they.
No, you have to tamper it down.
Yeah.
No khoresh.
Right. So we would bring our food and we would wrap it in plastic. Like I remember, I would make my sandwiches and I would wrap it so good that no smell could come out of it. I would come to university and there was this specific place in one of the Danishkade, one of the buildings of our university, that under the stairs, that was like one of the common areas that the ones who were Ruzakhari is a sin, which means eating during fasting time, right? So all of the people who were doing Ruzakhari would go hide under those stairs, and we would be eating there, which that's also I remember that was a good place always to pick up girls, because that's where all the kids who who violate the rules basically are, if a girl is there eating, that this is a girl that is, kind of like rebellious, or basically not interested in following the norms, right? So it was also a good place to pick up girls. And yeah, but it was something. And also, you told me about my uncle. My uncle had a huge beard, and I remember he had this. He's very addicted to his coffee, so he could not drink coffee in the morning while he was driving to work. And so one thing he did, because during non-Ramadan days, he would just drink coffee on his way to work in his car, but during Ramadan, because he had a huge beard, what he did, he had a straw that went under his beard to his mouth. So while he was driving, he would slowly sip on his coffee without showing that he's drinking on anything. So that was what he did. Yeah, so coffee addicts, this is a bad time of the month for them. And also it was also bad for my dad, because my dad loves swimming. That was his main exercise. And during Ramadan, they would close down pools. Because
if
you're
you
not
lower your
supposed.
head, it breaks your fast, right?
Yeah, because there are many things there are a couple of things that breaks your fast. It's not just eating. One of the things that breaks your fast is inhaling a lot of dust or smoke, for example. That would break your fast. Another thing that breaks your fast is that if you are completely submerged underwater. So if you go underwater, if you go all the way up to here, you still haven't broken your fast. If you go all the way until even if you have a tiny little bit of your head still above water, your fast hasn't broken. But as soon as the water touches and you're completely submerged in water, that's the second that your fast is broken, right? So you're basically sinning. If you go and you've broken your fast and you have sinned, you've broken a fast during Ramadan. So you're not supposed to swim, or if you're swimming, you're supposed to swim without keeping your head above water the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, pools just shut down, and my dad would lose his access to his favorite exercise during Ramadan. I remember that. But now I think they have pools that that only open before and after, at nighttime before the fasting period. So they did that. I also remember in Iran during Ramadan, a lot of restaurants planned their renovation for Ramadan if they have any renovations coming, because those are the times that they're going to have less customers. So if they want to renovate the restaurant, they plan it to make sure that it's happening during Ramadan.
Doesn't sex break your fast as well?
I don't think so. I mean, I was a kid, so I didn't have to worry about that. Let me see.
I don't know, because on Twitter and Instagram, I'm seeing all these memes of Muslim couples talking about their low-key, they're talking about their struggles with horniness during Ramadan and how they have to stay away from each other. I don't know. So that was the implication to me. I could be wrong. Yeah, masturbation breaks fasting, sure.
Oh yeah, it does break your head. Yeah, actually, I never had to deal with that. They never told us that in school because we were kids, and we didn't. I mean, in university we had sex, but I wasn't told. But we didn't. We stopped being educated about. Maybe I forgot about this, but yes, sex does break your fast. That's fucked up. That's the hardest part. I mean, if you can still have sex before and after, before dawn and after dusk. I think you can't just have sex during that dawn to dusk period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is not good. I mean, after iftar, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but depending on your time zone, that period could be very fucked up because it's geographically
I think if
based.
you're in Norway, that's 20 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. During iftar, are you going to go for the food first or for your wife first? Depending on your main
I'm
urges.
breaking my
By the way,
fast with you,
yes. Oh, yeah, honey. The food looks good, but
but you
I
look
know what
better.
I'm doing for iftar. You look better. um. By
I'm
the way,
thirsty in more
another
ways
thing.
than one. Heyo.
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's a good line. um, a lot of people gain weight during Ramadan. A lot of Muslims gain weight during Ramadan. Did you guys know that? Because they overeat in dawn before the morning adhan, and they eat really sugary and fatty food because they're preparing. Like they know that they can't eat for a lot of hours. So in the morning, they just go at it to just make sure they're storing up for that long period. And then during the day, because they're not eating for a long time, they get really, really hungry. And then when they're breaking their fast in the afternoon, they go at it again. And it's a
Well,
lot of
yeah, it's like a
sugary
binge.
food.
It's like a binge cycle.
It's a binge cycle. Yeah. So they're fasting, but they're getting, like, many of them gain weight during Ramadan.
Yeah. Wait, someone is saying, okay, no, that's something different. Okay, so I just want to say that I have so much sympathy for the people that are forced to fast. That is horrible. Like, for example, Rox here is
Oh,
saying,
sorry.
actually, it's true. I'm afraid to buy food. Or if someone saw me eating, it wouldn't be good at all. Like, you can go find these videos of these like pranksters. It's usually like an Arab dude who's like a prankster YouTuber. And during Ramadan, they'll do pranks to make it look like they're breaking their fast during the day to catch on camera the reactions of people and then be like, oh, haha, no, it's a joke, blah, blah, blah. You can go find these videos everywhere. It's supposed to be a joke. But when they film these videos where they're pranking people to think that they're breaking their fast, the people, and particularly men around them, react with extreme and instant violence. So I remember watching videos of this like teenager or young like Saudi dude who was pretending that he had a hidden camera in his room, and his dad comes in while he's pretending to be like drinking water or something. Like his dad catches him drinking water, and his dad immediately starts beating him. Pulls off either like pulls off the, I forget what you call the black thing that like Gulf Arab men use to put their little keffiyeh on, but like whips that thing off and just starts beating on him. And he's like, no, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. You know, like you can find these videos everywhere, and that's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to be this like, oh, ha ha, like I got you. But to an outsider, I'm like, this is not normal. To like immediate instant violence, because that's what happens to people who are breaking their fast. You're like, this is a joke to you because you're not actually breaking your fast, but this is like not a joke to a lot of people. I don't know, it's horrible. It's horrible.
By the way, do you know that in Iran there's some campaigns to eat during Ramadan in public? So back when I was in Iran, eating outside during Ramadan was like serious risk taking, right? Like you could get beaten up by a cop, like beaten up severely by a cop if they see you eating like food in public or something like that. That was like not a joke. It was really dangerous back then. But now Iranian people, not only it's becoming more normal, and some people are daring the norms of society, and they're like, you know what? Not only we are going to eat in public because fuck you, but we're actually going to turn it into a campaign. So some people on purpose, and also there are a lot of people that like to sin more during Ramadan.
Ramadan, let's go.
Yeah, Ramadan. Yeah, exactly. So people want to, a lot of ex-Muslims especially, want to go out of their way to find, either a sexual or pork related or alcohol related, but they have parties that is like very intentionally sinful with pork, alcohol, and sex, to just say fuck you to Islam.
And in Iran, it's kind of awkward when Ramadan kind of lines up with Nowruz, and the Nowruz season of like Sees the Baydar, like those holidays conflict, and it's just a mess. So wait, let's go through the
Like, I can
comments
see,
that Dee
you can
found.
see a lot. I can see so many people, so many ex-Muslims in our chat have trauma, like traumatic experiences with Ramadan. I can. There's like, for a lot of you, this is like who are watching this. You might think, oh, Ramadan is this like ritual that they have, but for a lot of ex-Muslims, we have a lot of bad memory and societal pressure and trauma. You know, when for a lot of us, when we hear Ramadan, we just feel this weight, this eye in the sky watching us, this weight of society on our shoulder. It's just this feeling of disgust. And yeah, I can relate. I mean, some of these feelings are because it was like so long ago for me, 20 years ago, are less present in my mind than it used to. But when I see other ex-Muslims talk about the discuss, I can still feel it coming back, and I remember how it used to feel. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where, from someone who's never been Muslim from the outside, like the holiday legitimately doesn't seem very fun. You know, like there are some cultures where you're like, oh, like I don't know, like Purim seems super fun, Nowruz super fun, you know, those kinds of things, or Chinese New Year, you're like, oh my god, that looks super fun. But I've for Ramadan, I was always like, this doesn't seem like a good time, you know? Or like my friends who were immigrants to America, and they're like, yeah, I made my parents do Christmas because it looks like so much fun. I don't know, it never seemed like a good time.
And Shias make it even worse, because you might look at all of it and you think like this doesn't look like fun, but Shias look at Sunni Ramadan and like that actually looks fun compared to what the fuck we're doing. Because Shias go out of their way to just destroy the joy and suck the joy out of everything. I know Islam as a whole seems joyless, but Shias are something else. Like, I think Shias are just an anti-joy cult.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And then there's Eid, and you see the pictures of like just blood running down the sidewalks from Eid. It's like, what is happening? I don't know. I mean, I know not everyone does that for Eid, but
the Shias are the best. The only thing that Shias are really good at is like mornings and like funerals and crying and hitting yourself and yes, shit like that. Yeah. They're expert at sucking joy out of everything.
That's why not good marketing. You know,
I mean, it's good marketing for people who hate themselves, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Man, literally. Okay. So there was these comments.
Yes. Yeah. So this person is saying Afghanistan region of Nigeria. Look, it's not that bad, but it's not great. Kano, yeah. And this person is saying youths are gradually getting tired of religion. That's what's going to be interesting to see, because Nigeria is such a young country. Saying this isn't a religion anymore. This is now a tyranny. This is standard.
No. This is completely a religion. Guys, please do not defend religion by saying stuff like that. This is religion in its purest form.
Yeah. We got a few super chats. So Jack
guys.
Johnson is saying in Helsinki, Finland, schools tell parents not to make or encourage their kids to fast during school. Kids fasting has led to concentration problems. Well, of course. I mean, how many times do we have a campaign to end child hunger? And they're like, it's bad to have kids be hungry because they can't learn because you're hungry. I mean, it's not rocket science. Although, Armin, to be honest, when you're growing up, do you have to start fasting? Is it when you reach the age of maturity? Quote unquote?
For girls, it's 9. For boys, it's 15.
Yeah.
So it's worse for girls.
Because I know that I've heard stories from my friends who are ex-Muslim talking about how even when they were children and they didn't have to fast, they started to fast because they got so much praise from their family and community. Like, oh, look, you don't even have to, but you're fasting. And it's not
So
good for little kids.
we have, for kids, they have something called a half fast in Iran. I don't know if they have it in other Islamic. So if you're a boy under 15 and a girl under 9, so if you're a girl and you hit 9, you're supposed to fast for Ramadan completely. And if you're a boy, you hit 15, you have to fast completely. But some society encourages to get children to do half fasting, so that when they reach the age of maturity, they already have practice. So it's not hard for them to fast. So half fasting, I think it's from morning till noon or something. I don't know exactly, but it is a. Oh yeah, so people are saying we have it too. Okay, so yeah, so apparently other Islamic societies have half fasting.
Durga sent a super chat. Thank you for the Swedish krona, saying, I used to live in Saudi in the 90s. Theoretically, non-Muslims don't need to fast, but they are not allowed to rest at the office. Also, researchers showed how fasting during pregnancy affects fetuses. Oh my God. I mean, obviously you shouldn't fast when you're pregnant. That you're exempt, right? You're exempt from fasting if you're on your period.
You should be exempt. Aren't you exempt Islamically?
But I know some women feel pressured by their family to still fast because they don't want their family to know that they're on their period, because that's awkward. Also, they have to make up their fast later.
No,
or even when they're on their period and they're not fasting, like they're kind of shamed by their family. Like people look at them like, whoa, like judgment.
Okay, pregnant women do not need to fast. Okay, so please do not fast if you're pregnant. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't eat at the office. Yeah, can't eat. You mean they cannot eat. Yeah, so Islamically, the law is for non-Muslims that they don't need to fast, but they are not allowed to eat in front of Muslims. They would get in trouble if they eat in front of Muslims. Like even sick people who are not, even sick people, for example, Islamically, if you're sick, you are not required to fast, but you are required to eat your food in private, not in front of Muslims.
What if you have diabetes? Are you allowed to eat throughout the day? Like that would count, right? Okay.
Yeah, you are allowed to eat, but you should do it privately where nobody sees you. Like I remember actually people, like we had teachers that had diabetes and they had candies. And they were in class, and they would have to their blood sugar would drop or something. I don't know what happened. And they would have to they would take their candy and they would go out of the class and eat their candy, and they will come back in. Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Kalikunjiski, that's what it's called.
What?
The half fast. The half fasts are called head of little birds. I don't know what to say. I didn't know how to translate that in English. Never mind. Okay.
Engagement say, I take breaks from certain kinks and coffee so they retain their potency. Is that fasting? I guess. No. I mean, I call that a tolerance break. A tolerance break. Taoists have weird fasting rules depending on their sect. There's lots of different interesting reasons to do fasting, and within different ideologies and spiritualities, there's different reasons. It's kind of interesting.
I hated when intermediate fasting was becoming a thing, that Muslims were going around like, see, we told you fasting has gas. Like this is not. First of all, intermediate fasting.
The wisdom of Islam. We were.
We were right. See, this proves Islam is wise before. Like this is like only modern medicine has realized something that Muhammad knew like 1400 years ago. This shows that Islam is right.
Quran is right once again.
Fuck you, man. This is not the same thing. Intermediate fasting involves drinking a lot of water. Okay, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not the same thing. God, it's
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna.
Gasian just gave a super chat saying, I remember seeing a TikTok that compared no ethical consumption under capitalism with evangelical denial of joy. It might be some people just hate joy. I think if we really want to get into it, it's that some ideas and ideologies are so totalitarian that they actually require elimination of traits and qualities that make us human. And so, for example, under communism, it's this elimination of greed and self-interest and self-centeredness, which is an essential element of being human. So for a communist utopia to work, that element of being a human needs to be eliminated, which ultimately means that humans are going to be eliminated. And different ideologies just fixate on different traits and take it to an extreme. I don't know if that made sense, but just that's my understanding of studying a lot of different cult and fundamentalist groups.
This all started, I had to look up the English version of this religion, but all of this anti-joy, anti-worldly pleasure ideas came from Manichism, which is in Persian we call it something else. But this all came from there. It wasn't originally in Judaism. Saint Augustine, who used to be from this, it's a religion that came from Iran, and there's like it doesn't exist anywhere anymore. It's not Zoroastrianism that came from Iran. This is another religion that came from Iran. It's actually first global religion that disappeared, that took the globe very fast, and also disappeared very fast. But Saint Augustine, who used to be from this religion that came from Iran, he took it to the Catholic faith, and then it spread into Christianity, and from Christianity spread into Islam, and then from Christianity also sometimes seeped into some corners of Judaism as well. But it came from Manichism, and it's basically the whole idea of the body being disgusting, earthly pleasures being disgusting. The whole apple in the Genesis wasn't supposed to represent the relationship between Eve and the devil until Saint Augustine, in an attempt to make worldly pleasures disgusting and vile, reframed it like that. The story was changed because of Manichism. So if you're saying in Abrahamic religions there's a disgust, and in communism or in religion there's a disgust towards this worldly pleasures and food and sex and anything else, it comes from Manichism.
And it's different than Manichaeism is different than Mandeism, which still exists, right?
I don't know. I know these names mostly in Persian, so it's Manichaeism. I don't know what you're referring to when it comes to Mandeism.
Mandeism is a different religion. Sorry, I just needed to look that up and clarify myself.
Yeah, I don't know what Mandeism is. I just don't.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let me just look at the Persian version. Yeah, Aina Manavi, which was like Manichaeism. Yeah, it's very interesting how not many people know about this religion much, given though it was like before Christianity was a world religion. This was a world religion, like because before Christianity and Manichaeism, each geography had their own religion. Right now, the only religions that we know that are actually global are Christianity and Islam. But before Christianity and Islam, this was a global religion that didn't recognize borders. All other religions were
China.
Yeah, it was like all over the place. It came from Iran and it took over very fast.
And this is why, as an ex-Catholic, I have sex shame.
Yes,
God damn you!
Yeah, the sex shame that you're experiencing in Catholicism comes from Iran, comes from Manichaeism from Iran.
Look at what your people did to me.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Okay,
so Yusuf is saying Yusuf saying isn't Buddhism a universal religion? So what I was saying is universal and global are two separate things, right? So at that time, Buddhism was not global, like it wasn't all over the place. Manichaeism, if you look at the map of where Manichaeism went, it was actually global. Beyond being universal, it was everywhere. Sorry, Susie. I know we have to move on. Come back, Susie. I'm sorry. This is so interesting for me. That's why I have to talk about it. Right. Oh wait, Rox had said there was this comment was Susie, come back. I apologize. I should have one of those Shia chains here and start hitting myself for talking too much about. I'm wearing. This is not black. I know it looks black, so it looks very Shia, but it's actually blue. So I am properly dressed for. Okay, Susie.
Yes.
Yes.
Rox is saying, by the way, true story, I'm sick. I have a high fever and feel dizzy currently, but my mom refuses to let me take medicine until I finish fasting for the day. Which sucks.
What?
I'm so sorry, Rox. I hope you feel better. And this is
Wait,
like the real
that's
consequence of this
un-Islamic.
stuff.
You're
Yeah.
sinning technically if you're sick and fasting. Tell your mom, you're making me sin. Tell her that.
Mufti Armin told me so.
Yes, say I heard this from an actual legit mufti that this is not okay Islamically, that I'm sinning right now. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next.
Wait,
news.
just a second. My audio went out. I need to refresh.
Okay. We lost Susie. I am now in control. The boss is gone, people. Wow. I own this channel now. Oh, there she is. The boss is back.
Boom. Can you hear me? Oops.
Yes. Can you hear us? Oh.
Yes. Cool.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
Rux is saying, okay, I will try to argue with her. Okay,
Go
only
find
if
some fatwas.
only. Yeah, but only if it's. I hope I'm not going to break up your family. Okay, like only do it if you know that this will work on her. Please do not fight with your mom because of a recommendation.
Yeah, be safe.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Be safe and
Okay,
maintain
so
your
let's go to
family
the next news.
relationships. Okay, clappable.
We don't like this, but no one died.
No one died. Next
news. Sharia law exposed. Gay men publicly lashed in Indonesia. And yet another horrifying display of Sharia brutality. 2 young men in Indonesia's Aceh province were publicly flogged on February 24th for allegedly having gay sex after being caught naked and hugging by neighborhood vigilantes that broke into their room. So basically, these 2 dudes were doing whatever they were doing behind 2 closed doors. The neighbors suspected them of doing some funny business and broke into their home, like breaking down the door, and caught them canoodling. They were canoodling and they broke in and just like caught them. The Sharia court handed down sentences of 85 and 80 lashes as punishment, with lead judge Sakwana declaring, quote, as Muslims, the defendants should uphold the Sharia law that prevails in Aceh. The older man received a harsher sentence because judges deemed him to be the instigator. Aceh, the only province in Indonesia enforcing Sharia, regularly flogs people for so-called morality crimes, including drinking, gambling, and even they will flog men for missing Friday prayers. More than 100 people are caned each year under its draconian laws, which even extend to the tiny minority of non-Muslims. While Indonesia's central government has no laws against homosexuality, it has utterly failed to stop the Islamist takeover of Aceh, where religious police now rule with unchecked power. So, for those who are not aware, in Indonesia, like in this one part of the country, like this little tip, there was this Islamist insurgency that happened. And basically, the government made this agreement with this like Islamist insurgency that said, look, like we are basically going to let you kind of have this autonomy, like this certain level autonomy from the main Indonesian government. And you basically get to have an Islamist like little mini state over here. And you have the autonomy to enforce Sharia beyond what is normalized in the central Indonesian government. So it's this semi-autonomous Islamist state within Indonesia where all these headlines always come out of about all the floggings they do. We've covered before how they will catch a couple having premarital sex, allegedly, and flog them in punishment. People, and they film and like publicize these floggings. They do it in public. Maybe I should pull up a photo actually, because it's creepy. And just to give people a sense of like what this looks like. The person that does the flogging, like straight up looks like an executioner almost. It's really, really creepy.
I always wondered who applies for that kind of a job.
And it's oftentimes so I think women are supposed to flog women and then men flog men. But this is legit so creepy. Wait. Look at this. This scares the hell out of me, man.
Oh, be careful. You might show you something that we can't show on YouTube.
No. I did a quick check.
Yeah. Whoa.
So
why are you really like that?
Yeah, look at we
How
met
did they
the all
see where they're hitting?
female flogging squad.
I don't know how they see where they're hitting.
This is the vibe. It's yeah.
Also, in Iran, I remember people who were flogged for different reasons, mostly because of drinking alcohol. So they would tell us that when you get flogged, the person who does the flogging, hold on.
Why won't it
How
come
come
up?
it doesn't show? Yeah, I don't know. It's weird today.
There we go.
There we go.
Sorry, you were saying the person that gets flogged.
The person who does the flogging, apparently they know that if you flog a certain area of your body over and over again, it becomes desensitized and you don't feel much anymore. So what they do is they make sure that they move from the top all the way down to your legs, so to make sure that you're feeling every single one of them to its maximum potential. So they hit at the top and they slowly go down, so they don't stay in one area, so for maximum pain. So that's why a lot of the floggings, you can see it's up here, but it's all the way down to their legs, the back of the legs. It's really brutal. Yeah.
And the injuries and bruises that it leaves behind is brutal. Like, look,
Yeah,
I don't know if
the
anyone's ever looked into it. I've looked into it. It's horrible.
Yeah, there's like they hit it in the way, flesh flies in the air. I mean, I've
It's-
seen grown men crying like babies, like in some of these videos.
Well, remember when Raif Badawi was getting flogged? The liberal Saudi activist Raif Badawi was sentenced to 1,000 lashes. Originally sentenced to 1,000 lashes. And when he was receiving his first set of lashes, because sometimes they don't do it all at once. They sometimes do it in chunks. And when his first set of lashes was being filmed and publicized, he passed out. And the outrage that happened because of that incident actually ended up leading to the rest of his lashes getting suspended. I don't remember the details. I think they just never did the rest of the lashes. I can't remember if the rest of his lashes were suspended or they just like, they're like, oh, technically you still have to get these, but we're just not going to do them. You know what I mean? And we're going to hit you with fines to replace the punishment, that kind of thing. I can't remember all the details, but basically I don't think he ended up getting officially lashed in that way again. But
Right.
yeah, it's horrible.
I remember in Iran there are people who were told that if you pay the person who lashes, they will do it lightly, like it would then be as much aggressive, which motivates. I think I'm not sure about this. I'm going to be honest. That motivates them to always go hard as much as they can to have a business for getting paid to do it lightly. So again, there's a two-tier system here. If you cannot afford it, you're going to experience the entire pain. But if you can afford to pay the man, you get less pain.
Oh, and I would just speaking of, I would just like to highlight for everyone once again that in Iran they still do amputations as a form of Islamic punishment on people. And in Iran, and there are amputations that happen almost every year nowadays, amputating fingers oftentimes. And in Iran, if you pay the doctors who are amputating your fingers in a medical setting, if you pay them extra, they will take your amputated fingers, put them on ice, and then reattach them for you. Because then you will have served the Sharia punishment. But if you pay, then you get to have your fingers back. They never fail to do this in the most perverse, exploitative, depraved way possible. And this is why I want to highlight to people that these are abnormal medieval states that we are dealing with. This is incompatible with the 21st century. This is literally medieval shit that is still continuing to this day. And we're supposed to partner and have diplomacy with this bullshit like this is normal. This is straight up abnormal. It's torture in the clinical setting. I want to remind people that in Iran, the government is oftentimes involved in the business of literally blinding citizens as a matter of justice. Because if you get blinded in some way, you can ask the court that your perpetrator becomes blinded as the punishment. Literal eye for an eye. Literally. You can literally ask that your perpetrator becomes blinded, implemented by the government for you to receive justice. Or you can just instead literally take blood money. It's, Darko, pure insanity.
Right.
Sorry, that was a mini Susie rant.
Okay, so two things I need to correct in the live chat. First of all, to be saying it's business can't escape from capitalism, final boss. I am offended. Do not connect anything like this to capitalism. Capitalism has lifted. There's nothing. There's no system better than capitalism for lifting people out of poverty and empowering them. This is not the final boss of capitalism. This is a fucking disease. Capitalism is good for humanity. This is fucked up shit. Okay, so I just want to make sure that we do not associate this with capitalism. In fact, if anything, poor people have become more empowered and have more rights under capitalism, if anything. So I just want to correct
isn't the Islamic Republic supposed to be like quasi-socialist anyways? Like supposedly?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, the Islamic Republic functions under a marriage of Marxist and Islamic ideas. Yes. No, I know. And don't say my bad. I stand corrected. My bad. No, it's okay. I just when I see that, I just want.
You just wanted the opportunity to become a white knight for capitalism.
Yes, that's just. I just see it as an opportunity. Also, another comment I saw, somebody says Iran is barbaric. No, Iran is not barbaric. It's the Islamic Republic. I know you don't mean it like that, but I just want to use this comment as an opportunity to mention that Iran is actually very civilized. The Iranian people are very civilized. It's the Islamic Republic that is barbaric.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really good segue into our next story. But we should go through the comments that Dee found.
Yeah. Let's do that first.
This is some sort of weird, I guess, joke saying they should probably look into moving to Gaza where Hamas would accept them unconditionally. I think maybe this person is trying to make fun of queers for Palestine or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's what it is. Yeah.
This person is saying, sick world, if people just learn to mind their own business, none of this would happen. Plus, religion is a waste of time and zero purpose in the modern era other to divide. So this person is pissed. Okay. I mean, I don't blame you for being pissed. This is barbaric shit, but
I like his energy.
he just unloaded.
Yes. Oh, is the video file for this story? Should I upload the video file?
Oh yeah, I told you to.
Yeah, it's ready now.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, good. I'm so excited to talk about this. And we can have a big clap for this.
Nice. Next news.
Iran's youth humiliates the mullahs. The regime is dying. So basically, this is my opportunity to show you guys this video that was viral in Iran and talk about this interesting op-ed I read recently. So Iran's youth just delivered a humiliating blow to the mullahs, proving the regime is losing its grip on the next generation. A viral video from a state-commissioned documentary. Oh, this is so juicy. Intended to warn, intended to be a chilling documentation of a so-called cultural invasion, heartbreaking, instead exposed how little young Iranians care about their rulers. Teen girls giggled as they failed to name Iran's past and present leaders, a stark contrast to the older generations who once chanted and prayed for their health every morning at school. As one contributor to Iran International noted, today's youth are not indoctrinated like before. Quote, unlike my millennial generation, whose priority was politics and the collective, my niece's Gen Z generation is concerned with the individual, my hair, my rights, my aspirations. With widespread access to social media and illegal satellite TV, young Iranians are rejecting the Islamic Republic entirely, not with protests, well, also that, but with apathy. The regime may still hold power, but it's clear it has already lost the future. So let's watch this video, and then I also want to talk about some really cool quotes from this op-ed. So for context, guys, this is a state documentary, and part of this documentary was to document this kind of cultural tragedy of the problems with the youth. Wait. Did you not notice this, Armin?
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, I didn't notice it. Oh, what the hell? That's you.
I'm going to fall out of my chair.
Maga Susie. Wait.
You just pulled that up without noticing. Maga Susie, make Iran great again.
I just noticed
with the Trump
comment,
hat. That's hysterical.
Yeah, that.
Oh my god,
that's Susie's picture
Miga.
with the Trump hat. Okay, Miga.
Oh
yes.
my god.
Actually, to be honest, a lot of Iranians are using Miga. They are saying Miga, but that was amazing. That's fantastic.
I almost fell out of my chair. Holy crap!
Yes.
I need a moment. I was just so blindsided. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, so basically, let me get back to this. Okay. Maga Susie's in the
Okay. It's okay.
Okay. So basically they were making this documentary, almost like a public awareness campaign to be like, look at the tragedy of our youth. Like, they don't even know who Khomeini is. They don't know who Khamenei is. Like, this is how it's so bad. This is how far we've strayed, blah, blah, blah. But then a lot of liberal people in Iran and abroad are like, no, the kids are doing all right. The kids are all right. So let's look at the clip from this documentary. And I will read the translation. So
where is this? This is a video
probably
from
in Tehran.
But okay, so look at the woman. Look at where they're wearing.
Yeah.
the clothing. Okay.
I don't know
so
if it's in Tehran.
continue.
I don't know, but I'm
Let me.
assuming.
I can tell once you start playing.
Okay, so the person who's speaking first is like the woman promoting religious stuff, and she's saying to the young girls, I want to show you some photos to see if you know them. And she's going to show photos of Khomeini, who is the first supreme leader of Iran, and Khamenei, who is the current, right? So I want to show you them photos. See, do you know these men?
چند تا عکس بهتون نشون میدم میخوام ببینم که اسم این شخصیت‌ها رو میدونین بگین بهم نظر
Oh yeah,
Okay,
no, she
first of all,
starts out
this is-
showing celebrities. Actually, I should clarify. So he's like, "Oh, do
Yeah,
you know
because
them?"
they're trying to expose that Iranian youth know BTS, but they don't know Khomeini and Khamenei, which is actually quite bizarre to me that they don't know that. Like, how did they not know? But it's interesting. Also, yes, this is in Iran. This is so in Iran. So yeah, continue.
Yeah. Like, oh, I know this. This is BTS. Oh my gosh, I love them. Da, da, da. You know, like young girls. Oh my god, K-pop armies, BTS army in Tehran, full force.
نظرتون راجبش چیه؟
Oh, what do you think about them? I love them.
بیلی چی؟
Oh wow, this one's
Continue.
Billie Eilish. Ba ba ba. You know. Oh, she's so cool. She has a beautiful voice, like a cool vibe.
So,
Show him.
so the
They show a picture of Khomeini, and they're like, "Why do you laugh at him? Do you know him?"
So it's interesting that they're laughing because these are people so they were looking at K-pop and Billie Eilish or other celebrities, and they were enjoying that. And then she brings a picture of Khomeini, and they start laughing because I think the reason why they're laughing is because it's a mood kill. Like the youth is like, what the fuck? What is this old people shit that you're showing us? You know what I mean? Like this is like old man stuff. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. Is this Khomeini or is this Khamenei? Like,
So they can't
What
tell
is
the
it?
difference between. Wow. So she can't tell the difference between Khomeini and Khamenei. Is this Khomeini or Khamenei? So she doesn't know which is which. Holy shit. Okay.
yeah, and also, guys, just like look at how they're dressed. Look at the hair. You know, they're
Yeah.
like, who are these Akhunds, these Mullahs, these turbaned dudes? They're all the same. Who is this? I can't tell. Haven't you seen his
Right.
picture in your first grade book? They're like, isn't this in your textbooks? Like, isn't this in your curriculum? Or like, you know,
Mm.
framed above your classroom, you know?
Yeah, okay, but the thing to be fair,
What?
their pictures are everywhere, but there's always Khomeini and Khamenei everywhere. They're next to each other, right? So I could see if you're one of the youth who's not following the news and it's just like like having fun and are into like music and dancing and just partying, and you don't care about the news and you always see their pictures always next to each other. I can see why maybe they can't tell them apart. Okay, sure, all right.
Yes, but I always tore his pictures out of my book.
Right. So
Like, yeah, I
so
would
for
see him, but I'd
people-
just throw it away.
So for people who don't know what she means by this, in Iran, the first, like in our school books, the very first page, okay, is always a picture of Khomeini. Like if you open it, there's a page of Khomeini that you always just go past, and then there's the title of the book, and then you go past, and then you get to the table like chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever. Okay, so it's now a norm in Iran. Like it's a thing a lot of students do, is that they just always tear apart the Khomeini picture and they throw it away, right? And many Iranian students actually film themselves. Like whenever they go to the first grade or second grade or third grade, they take the books and they video themselves tearing apart the Khomeini picture. Yeah, but go on.
No, but Armin, I just want to ask you, like, as someone from your generation, like, what does this make you think? This, you know?
This is not the Iran I recognize. Like the idea of, like everybody knew Khomeini and Khamenei, the difference. I mean, you have to be completely isolating yourself from that entire world. And I can see why. I mean, some people might call them, well, they're ignorant. How come they're not following the news? Because it's fucking depressing. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're in Iran, I mean, you could say, you know, okay, well, you have to be informed because only informed citizens will be able to fix this country and raise against the country and raise against the government and, you know, take the country back. But yeah, I get that. But at the same time, we have a youth that all of this sounds like fucking bullshit, depressing. Like, it's all ugly. You know what I mean? It's just, this is Islamic political fucking. By the way, when I say Islamic
Well, and also they're
political,
powerless against it anyways. I mean, within the government system that's created, it's rigged. So it's like, what's the point?
yeah, I mean, I don't think a young person like that even think, like, many of them, not all of them, a lot of them are actually. So this generation has I don't want to generalize this generation, okay? This generation has some of the most aggressive political activists, okay, within it. And also it has some people who are like, I don't give a shit, man. I just want to have fun. I'm a young kid. I want to party. I want to dance. I want music. I want to hang out with my friends. I want to dress up in these cool, you know, ways, modern ways, and fuck all of this shit. And you know, when you grow up in Iran, Islam and politics are kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? It was an adjustment for us to realize in other countries these are not necessarily the same thing, right? So given that Islam is so anti-fun and politics is Islam, a lot of people think like, okay, this is like, I don't give a shit. Like, this is like other old people shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know, we're just like what is like, it's a buzzkill. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it any better. I hope people understand what I'm trying to communicate, the feeling that some people have towards these things. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. She's saying, you mean that you were a rebel even in your first grade?
Look,
they're laughing, they're giggling, they're like, who is this really? Like, who is this?
Right. Look at the reaction. Like, look, guys, one more time. Can you go back? So they were showing them pictures of celebrity, and when it got to Khomeini, this is the reaction. Look at this. Yeah, this is the regime.
This must make your mind just go, Armin. Like,
this is an absolute failure of the entire propaganda arm of the regime. You know, like what? Like, this is like, oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Continue. Okay. Yeah, and also this is one thing else. Yeah, before that, so you can see the writings. That's Bank Millat. Okay, so this is in Iran. This is the famous Iranian bank. Okay, but you could, so go on. Sorry for interrupting.
Is this Khomeini or Khomeini?
Khomeini.
Maybe Khomeini?
So they're checking with each other. They're checking, like, I think it's Khamenei, but I'm not sure. Wow.
Yeah,
I cannot.
You really didn't pass your first grade.
So the reporter is asking that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's more I want to talk about, but Armin, this when this was released, this went viral,
blown.
and what was the reaction online?
Yeah, so to be honest, like, I saw this being posted multiple times. I actually didn't play the video because I was trying to go through everything on the news, and I just read the caption, and just reading the caption, my mind was blown. I actually didn't play the video when I saw this first because there's so many things that I need to check that I thought the caption basically summarized what's going on for me. And I moved on, but I'm so glad I watched it because my mind is blown. Like, I this is not like, I cannot even imagine. Like, I don't even, this is not the Iran I recognize. Like, I don't know. I need percentages. I need to know how many Iranians are this completely divorced from the politics of the country. I mean, to be quite honest, these are upper class people, right? These are a lot of people who can afford to have lifestyles that could live carefree lives, But also, I also, a lot of people are like, this is in their school books. How do they not know this? I mean, come on, you guys know, even in other countries, how certain information that are in books in other countries, people just go through them without paying much attention, and they just want to pass and just do the thing and get on with it, right? So I could see how that could possibly happen. But I could see how some Iranians themselves would be disagreeing on how to interpret this, because anti-regime Iranians, some people will look at this and they will celebrate this, and we're like, this is a failure of the regime to brainwash this new generation. But some other anti-regime Iranians are saying, like, how could these young people be so ignorant and so unaware? And this is not what we want. We want actually an educated young generation to be able to fight with this regime. So there are some mixed interpretations on whether this is a good thing or it's a bad thing, right?
Yeah, that's what was really interesting about this op-ed that I read. So basically, this op-ed comes from someone who is inside Iran. So it was written anonymously, but it's from the perspective of a woman who's a millennial and her interactions with her niece who is in Gen Z, and she's like working through the differences. So she's saying, we, the so-called millennials, fought the Islamic Republic. Iran's Gen Z has disentangled itself from it. They have no time for it, and they live in a parallel reality, almost detached from that state, and detached from what the state stands for and promotes. And basically, she goes on to talk about that they have different media exposures. They have illegal satellite TV, they're online, and it's filtered, but they can still see what the rest of the world is like, and they want to be a part of it. And it says, this access to all that's out there has transformed Iran from within and below, even if the shell and the top remains the same. In her attitude towards religion and authority, my niece has more in common with a teenager in the United States than she does with her own mother. And basically this, like, she's working through how this contrast is really mind-boggling to her. And growing up as a millennial, you have to pray for their health all the time. It's in your school, it's ubiquitous. Maybe your family had their pictures in the home. Having your, growing up as a millennial, the parties of your aunts and uncles would be broken up by men storming in uniform. Like there was this fear of the turbaned guys. And it's saying, over the years, this injustice and repression eroded affection and erased all such individual displays of disrespect. The leaders' images are still ubiquitous, but only in public and only sponsored by the state. My niece and her friends have never really looked at these images. They do not examine Khomeini's face on banknotes the way that we once did, trying to find the fox that was said to have been hidden in his beard by a cheeky designer. So basically on the banknote, there's like a rumor that there's a fox like in the design, and they'd like look at it. And this little interaction that she documents is so funny, Armin. So, quote, "You must be kidding me," my niece told me when she caught me watching the presidential debate on state TV last summer. "Who gives a crap about elections?" she said. A few words later, I learned that she didn't even know how many were running, let alone their names. Unlike my generation, who believed in change through the ballot box, though whose priorities in politics was the collective, my niece's generation is concerned about the individual. My hair, my rights, my aspirations. The apathy in politics and focus on the self runs deeper and broader in the teenage folks, of course. But theirs is a more natural and unenforced, more organic, perhaps. Our generation can take some credit for that. And so the writer goes on to talk about how it's natural that the younger generation would act this way when their parents grew up cursing the regime. Like, is it so weird that the kids who grew up seeing their mom like cussing out someone who's harassing her for hijab would just kind of throw this away entirely? You know, my sister is not my mother. Her daughter, my niece, has been hearing her swearing Iran's officials since she was a fetus. She has not been forced by my sister to beware and behave. She has not been scolded for getting a low grade in religion class at school. My sister and I were suppressed by the state and by our parents' fear of the state. My niece has grown up with parents not just disillusioned, but vocal against the state. It is little surprise then that she is bolder almost to the point of brashness. And then this quote is so funny. What does it have to do with my mom or her mother or their dear God, my niece says, when I meekly suggest that my sister might be uncomfortable with what she's wearing. It's not like I'm asking her to dress like this, is it? And so basically, this was one of my favorite quotes from this piece, and this is what I think about, and I'm interested to hear your reaction, Armin, because this kind of goes into a political evolution. This quote: it was a collective struggle, like the 2022 protests, the Women Life Freedom protests, was a collective struggle for the individual, a collective struggle for individual rights. And it triumphed in the sense that it normalized uncovered hair, the very thing that had a young woman killed, sparking the Women Life Freedom movement. So our turbaned leaders may still be watching over my niece, but they're as relevant to her life as the framed pictures are. I don't know. I just thought this was so interesting. And then the op-ed finishes with said, like many of her generation, my niece appears to have stopped worrying about freedom and just lives it.
Okay. So this is very interesting perspective, and it's very educational to me, because from my perspective, and it's probably not the correct perspective, because we are on the Iranian side, we are doing activism, right? So the picture that I see, like we see the people who come around us, you know, on our Persian channel and the activism that I am doing with other Iranians, we see some people from Generation Z that are really hardcore. Like they are fucking serious about their anti-regime agenda and activism, right? And they're fucking brave and they're radicals, right? But that perspective that I have is flawed. It's not a good indication of what's actually happening. Probably it's not a good indication of what's happening, is because the nature of what we are doing makes me surrounded by Iranians who are actually interested in anti-regime activism. So I am like, I'm not getting the Generation Z Iranians around me who are interested in, you know, mostly celebrities, partying. I get the Generation Z Iranians around me that are interested in fighting. Like, you know, maybe they're interested in that as well, but they're also interested in fighting, right? But I can see from other people's analysis and you know, and reporting that it might be, you know, unlike what I'm noticing in some people from this generation, it might be accurate to say mostly, not completely everybody, but if we look at my generation and my parents' generation and the next generation, it could be seen that my parents' generations are people who were responsible for were living with the people who were responsible for the Islamic Republic, right? And some of them regret that, and some of them are still have that mindset, right? But these are the older generations, and even many of them are now anti-regime, but they have a lot of those traditions still with them. They have their attitudes towards things. I mean, they're learning a lot of things from younger people, but they are still a little bit more traditional, right? Our generation is the angry generation in Iran. We are the ones we are the ones who think that we were wronged by the generations of our parents, that a country was stolen from us, opportunities were taken from us, and our generation produced many fighters and many people who were active and many people who ended up being very anti-Islamic and very anti-regime, right? But the next generation, our children that are now like Generation Z and younger, they don't have parents like we did. That's we had mixed parents. Some of us had parents that were anti-regime, and some of us had parents that are pro-regime. But even people with pro-regime parents are becoming anti-regime. But we had a mixed experience. We grew up in family. We grew in schools that was very pro-regime.
You grew up
next generation
during the Cultural Revolution, basically.
Yes. So our generation grew up with a lot of pro-regime propaganda and fucking hated it, right? This other generation is growing up in families that are mostly not pro-regime themselves, right? So there wasn't, at least in their home and not much in their school, there was nothing, they didn't feel the presence of the Islamic Republic in their lives as much as we did. Like, we grew up being very much harassed and attempted brainwashing and harassment by the regime. This Generation Z people, they felt the regime in their lives less than we did, right? But they also noticed how the previous generation hates the regime. So they saw the presence of the regime. They grew up in environments that were mostly hateful towards the regime, but some of them weren't as passionate. They didn't become pro-regime, but they weren't many of them are not as aggressively as anti-regime as we are. I mean, they hate the regime, but they just they have other things to do. I don't know how to describe it. Like, they
just want to live.
We were basic. Yeah,
they don't want to be in a fight. They just want to go live.
Exactly. So we were a backlash to our previous generation, but they are not a backlash to the previous generation, because their previous generation was not abusing them or brainwashing them as much as our previous generation. You know what I mean? So they just like, you know what? Many of them, maybe I'm based on what some people are saying, these are the people like, just leave me the fuck alone kind of generation. And these are people who are just want to have lives that is basically very similar to a teenage girl in Iran wants to have the same lifestyle that a teenage girl in the United States has. You know what I mean? Or in Canada has, or in Europe has. Like, that's what she wants. That's what he wants. And until she or he doesn't feel the regime coming in and stopping him or her, and to be honest, it's just the regime is meddling in their lives much less than before, because it's just so common for them to live this life, right? So this life is just so widespread, like looking like that they're not feeling the regime as much as we did, right? So they just want to, and honestly, a lot of them are not feeling, because once the regime stops meddling with you, with your hijab as much as the previous generations, the people who feel the influence of the regime are poor people, not these people. You know what I mean? Because right now that the regime is loosening up its grip on what people are wearing, the main harm is experienced right now with poverty.
Yeah.
And people like her are not feeling it. You know what I mean? Right now, a lot of saving Iran is mostly from the absolute bankruptcy that the Islamic Republic is forcing upon the Iranian people every fucking day, right?
Not because of sanctions, because of their own mismanagement.
Right. And also they brought the sanctions upon themselves. Like, the poverty that Iranian people are facing, and maybe she's not feeling that right now, is bone breaking, as we say in Iran. Like, the weight of it is fucking, and this is a regime, and that's because of Islam, by the way, because this is a regime that uses its resources to go and fund its Shia expansion, exporting the Islamic Republic's ideology agenda. It's a regime that has admitted that is trying to spend Iran to spread Islam. Like they don't see their goal as, they don't see themselves as responsible for prosperity in Iran. They see themselves as people who have been given Iran to spend it in spreading Islam and bringing down the imperialist Western order. That's what they see themselves as. And people are dying. I was watching, so she might not, I mean, no, I'm not trying to attack her. I'm just saying that what she's feeling is completely
You're just giving
different
perspective.
from
It's
another.
not an attack.
I'm just giving perspective, because right now in Iran, because of sanctions and poverty and many other things like that, poverty that is mostly from mismanagement. I mean, I could explain to you how even the sanctions and the mismanagement is all by design. Like there are people within the regime that want the sanctions. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that, but
Yeah.
this is all because of the doings of the regime. But I was listening to a father from Iran mentioning how his daughter had blood cancer, and he could not afford treatments for her. And he was explaining how he broke down when the daughter came to his dad and said that the roof of her mouth was collapsing, and it was bleeding, and he said like her mouth was full of scars, and he didn't know what to do. And he like, this is a man who feels like he's failing as a father because he cannot, and the treatment is right there and he cannot afford it.
A
right?
lot of dads
all-
in Iran do a self-deletion because they're so ashamed of their inability to provide. I mean, that'll break a man.
Yeah, and a lot of these people keep leaving voice messages to medias like Manoto or Iran International, and they mention that they could only they can't buy anything. They can't buy, like they're taking pictures of their fridges, how empty it is. But especially people. Here's the thing: the regime comes out and says, like, you know what? It's okay for us to eat less. Okay, this is hardship that we could this is the official position of the regime. So the regime had this on national TV. A woman one time and came out and said to the Iranian people that actually this is good, that if you can't eat meat, it's actually good if you reduce meat eating. Meat is actually bad for you. And now that people cannot even buy potatoes because potatoes apparently are so expensive now, the regime had
Pasta.
people coming out and saying that, you know what, this hardship, this hunger, this is what makes character. A lot of our imams went through hunger, and the Iranian people can tolerate this. But then when it got to medicine and not having the ability to pay for your mother or your father or your children, this is an area that they don't even dare talk about. When people cannot, when you cannot afford the treatment of your own daughter, this is when I see so many people call into these shows, leave voicemails, and after they explain what they're experiencing, the only thing that they could say after is that they start swearing at Khamenei. Okay, they don't swear at America, they don't swear at Israel. They explain that this is what I just witnessed. My daughter coming to me and saying, my mouth is bleeding. Okay, and they just start swearing at Khamenei. Okay, so by the way, all the leftists in the United States that say like, oh, this is because of the sanctions, we're doing Iran harm, Iranian people are poor because of the sanctions. First of all, fuck you. And second of all, the Iranian people themselves, when they're experiencing this poverty, they say fuck you to Khamenei, not America. And also the Iranian people, when they're chanting in the streets, they chant "Dushman ma hamin jas, durugh migan Amrikas." The Iranian people chant that our enemy. The chant is translated to "Our enemies are right here. They lie to us when they say it's America." That's what the Iranian people are chanting in the streets. Anyway,
I'm getting fired up right now. Oh my god. Yeah. No, it's really important for people to understand that. Let's go to the comments, and then we have a few things we start, but we need
Let's
to
do it
quick.
fast because,
Yeah.
by the way, we need to talk about. I don't know, you're gonna disagree with me, but I don't think what Massey's highlight. We should find somebody else to highlight when we are showing these videos. A lot of our Iranian fans are not
Won't be sensitive.
going to be happy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's talk
No,
about.
but I think they might be right about this. But
we don't have
I think,
time.
yeah. Okay.
So this person is saying this is heartening, but these young people also need to know the face of the evil that seeks to crush them. I actually have a response to that from something I highlighted. This person is saying absolutely no one should hold Billie Eilish or BTS as any sort of role models. There are much better role models in Iran. Please keep your Western propaganda to yourself.
Fuck off! People can choose their own role models.
Pronouns in their bio.
And also, I don't follow celebrities, but I'm assuming that these are people who work so hard to be this successful. So I don't know why they shouldn't be role models. Like if they're this successful, I'm assuming a lot of them did a lot of hard work to get where they are.
Say no, not the textbooks. Iranians will waste energy on everything but unifying to overthrow IRGC. That's not a completely fair criticism.
So I was sorry. I was doing thumbs up to D, not this person.
Yeah.
What
No, I got you.
No. Oh, yeah, that's fucking bullshit. Fuck this guy.
Yeah, no, we're talking about kids here. As if enough.
And also that actually Iranians will waste energy on everything but unifying to. Actually, that has been a very taking out those the pages from the textbook has actually been very motivating, and it's a very illuminating of where the youth is. So fuck that person for saying.
This was funny. Riet is saying so. Armin is a millennial. Yes, Armin is coming out as a millennial. I am also coming out as a millennial. I'm right on the edge, but it's we need to come out of the closet.
I never been in Santa Claus, but okay.
Oh, no, I'm kidding. And I wanted to respond to this. Riet is saying, from my experience, Iranians really pride themselves on being well-informed and well-read. Yes, they highly value education. So Gen Z obliviousness would be upsetting. And I kind of have a little bit of disagreement when you live in a totalitarian, authoritarian state that wants to make you a politicized revolutionary for their own ends, to a certain extent, completely tapping out and disengaging is its own rebellion. It wants to make. Yeah,
that is so true, because I think by doing that they might actually be more successful than we are. Okay, because we have tried fighting this regime, and the regime came down and suppressed us. So they hit us really, like the reaction of the regime.
Thousands have died.
Brutal. But this generation, by just living, they are basically fighting back against the regime in a way that is not oppressible, if that's even a word. Like, this is something that the regime is completely doesn't know how to deal with. That they're like, meh, we're just going on their own way and not caring about the regime. It might actually be the regime's Achilles heel. So I don't really know. They might actually be more we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. But yeah,
but when you're dealing with totalitarians that want to make you a politicized revolutionary, just like being like, no, I tap out, is like it's huge spitting in the face.
Yeah, their way of life, even without them trying, is a huge fuck you to the regime. The regime is desperate to this is eating the regime from inside just by them living the way they are.
It also shows the value of the battle of ideas and how cultural exports are extremely important in the war. Okay.
Right.
We're not just in a physical war. We're in a media war. We're in an information war, a cultural war. Okay. Yeah. We need to finish. Gaijin gave a super chat. Thank you so much, Gaijin, saying, I hope they don't follow BTS colorism or diets. Okay. Look. We all love some K-pop. We all love some J-pop, but the toxicity is real. The toxicity is real. And yes, I also hope they do not adopt the toxicity. I also wanted to just quickly highlight that I think MAGA Susie is Iranian based on this context. And MAGA Susie, if you could change your name to Miga Susie and just make
Miga.
it more Iranian, you have permission to use my image.
Yes, Miga. Change it to Miga. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you
I
so
had
much
so
for
much
liking
fun.
the
This was
stream.
such a good episode.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Tell us that this was a good episode. Thanks, Susie and Dee, for the amazing work that they do to prepare this news. They do most
And
of the work behind
Kenny's
the
on the news
scenes.
team too.
And Kenny, and thank Kenny as well. And thank you guys for supporting us and promoting us and advertising this channel. Until next stream, bye. Mwah.